trying to really full on lie to you guys, but wow, we've spent the past 2 weeks working on some stuff. It seems kind of unnecessary to do like a huge ruse, but I think it'll become kind of obvious as we go through this why it was necessary. But I'm happy with how it all turned out in the end. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. If I could have been more public with things, I could have gathered a lot more information. But any advice on your legal case? Any thoughts? I don't know. The lawyer that I talked to, he said that in Canada,
Sports is going to be the next minute for a few months.
He's won cases on less. I mean, I did a consultation. Some other shit. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. Possibly maybe there's something, but I don't know. Yeah, normally I don't really care about like quote-unquote defamatory statements because it's all internet bullshit. But the special issue with Keffels is that she's starting to get stuff published in media. And the issue I have is that when people like that any girl are trying to vandalize my Wikipedia article, it seems like they can almost bolster their claims because they can point to mainstream media articles that have her defamatory claims published about me. And when I'm starting to hit that level of defamation, well, now I kind of want to like I email the sites. Hopefully they'll either retract or add that I contest these claims. And then after that I will yeah, we'll see what happens. But like it's having like actual mainstream journalists like publishing lies about me is not cool. Making up stuff about me hate rating or anything like that is not acceptable. That's just de facto wrong. And also I don't know how these types of claims are published without anybody reaching out to me for comment. Typically standard procedure, or at least anything I've been involved in the past, even when people make claims on me, usually journalists will reach out to you for comment. Like, hey, we're publishing this about you. Do you have a comment or anything relating to this? It's very, 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 very fucking annoying. But you've done the same to that person who published the newspaper hit piece on you. I just go back and check, but I don't think she made any outright wrong claims. It was just her interpretations of things were like very fucked. But I don't think she lied about anything. I have to check. But the problem is journalists are publishing things from Keffels Court that are just lies about me. Like it's just like I've never hate rated anything in my life. If I was hate rating, we would be the best hate raters ever. We would do such a good job at it. We would bury these people. Did you watch any of her response stream? Also, was she just changing her title to debate you or about debating you a counter? Did you watch any of her response stream? Also, was she just changing her title about debating you a counter debate? I guess it was a debate. I came on Twitch, so I don't know. I watched a little bit, but I don't think she's gonna talk about it. I don't think she'll talk about it. She probably won't. She probably does just want to move on. But
I have been trade.
I said my piece. I don't care. I'm good. What was the point of saying you were going to debate Jordan B. Peterson and then doing the Keffels Manifesto instead?
Little Devils UDGGO.
So I wanted to have eyes on the Manifesto League. I didn't want to just start streaming the Manifesto and I have like 2,000 viewers because I think it's an important thing I want people to see. But I couldn't announce what I was doing ahead of time because if I announced anything ahead of time, they're going to be spam reporting on my shit and like kind of like pre-slandering me to get everything fucked basically. I didn't really want to have time to like have bullshit ready to like, oh well, Destiny's just trying to do this for keywords, blah 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 blah. I wanted to kind of catch them off guard. Yeah. Maybe you should do a real hate rate someplace so you have a clear example to contrast with. Yeah, true. You should have just said I can't really go on debating guys. It would have made more hype. No, I'm not going to make more hype. People would just nobody. The issue is that I needed to find somebody that was big enough that it would drive interest. It had to be big enough to drive interest, but it couldn't be so small. It would be somebody that would actually counter like what I'm saying. What do you think the follow is going to be? I don't know. Like I said, you guys have 24 hours free reign to post on the subreddit, and after that we chop her off completely. Pretty sure your own publicly stated ethics would go against lying for views. You're a permaban. What a fucking stupid comment. I saw some people say that. If I see you say that on the subreddit, it's instant permaban you. Like, it's pretty clearly like an exceptional circumstance. Like obviously I can't be public with anything because people are literally spam reporting. Like my Twitter account got banned. Every single YouTube video that I post gets spam reported. Keffels is like on a fucking like rampage throughout all of social media, getting everything fucking banned, spam reported, and take it down. Like there's no way that I can publicly say in 2 weeks I'm going live. You can see that they're monitoring all of my shit. You can see that they're like pulling stuff down behind the scenes based on like stuff that we're researching. Like kind of had to be a little sneaky. Keffels is unironically hate rating Destiny for every platform you can. Yeah, unironically, yeah. When you said you were going to do the manifesto, did you use that risk? Yeah, because I knew they were reading chat. I mean, she literally posted that message and they went over it on their streams. I mean, that was pretty obvious. Yeah. Destiny's reason Claire moved herself to DIY because cops came to her house, like she says in the DMs. Bro, I don't know. Time and everything, and they were pulling stuff down and using the archives, and it seemed like it was us. She says it has nothing to do with us. I don't know, who knows? It feels kind of weird that Keffels would get more popular and promote everything, and then they would say we're backing away from everything because Keffels got more popular and promoted everything. None of that seems to make sense. I would have to start like, I need to like truly know, like 100%. I think I'd have to start digging through like everybody's DMs. Like I would need access to their discords. Why are you not leaking Keffels ban Twitter? Are we actually free speech absolutionists? We'll cover this in a video in the future. I thought about it. I was really tempted at the end because that day8 Fesh guy and Keffels are actually both ban evading. It's possible. I think maybe they get both of their accounts banned. So I thought about doing a coordinated mass report at the end of stream. I mean, for reporting me for the same shit that they did, but there's a whole line of argumentation I've gone down to decide not to do stuff like this. But it's for I'm working on a separate video relating to kind of stuff like that. But Bob posting is too. Yes, so is Chloe. I don't actually hate Chloe as much, even though I think on the DIY HRT thing I think Chloe took the biggest hits. I don't actually hate Chloe as much because Chloe seems to me, and I could be totally wrong, but Chloe seems like the kind of person that will just shitpost really hard back and forth on Twitter. But at the end of the day, like it's shitposting. They don't seem like the kind of person to try to like mass flag somebody's accounts or anything. Generally, that's what it seems like. I could be wrong on that, but like, whereas Keffels is more like hate rating, brigading, like all of that shit. How confident are you that Cloudflare's going to answer call to action? Well, basically not at all. I don't think they would do anything. When I look at a lot of the Kiwi farms and a lot of the claims made about it, I guess the thing that is just like really scary to me is just how absolutely, it sucks because it sounds like I'm like defending Kiwi farms hardcore. I'm really not, but I understand that's how it's always going to come off. But like getting delisted from Cloudflare is a really big deal. Cloudflare is like a really important service on the internet, and I think their neutrality is very important as well. To get delisted from Cloudflare, first of all, that's a huge deal. That's happened to like, I want to say like 2 sites. But to get delisted from that site for what are essentially like fictional claims, the stuff that was levied against them was insane. 2 threats were posted on the forum. They were deleted within 15 minutes. Is that enough to get you kicked off of Cloudflare? Like that's insane to me. I don't know. To be fair, you're assuming it was those 2 comments, correct? It couldn't have been anything else. Cloudflare had written that they'd taken her off because of an imminent threat to life, and those 2 things were threats posted on the website. Those are the only 2 things that could have been. Do you not care that you disappointed a large amount of your audience by lying to your debate? I don't think I'm disappointed. I mean, the subreddit always hates me because it's for whatever fucking reason. It is what it is. I think it's pretty understandable. Like, hand was like a little bit forced. I could have lied with another name, or just I don't think I could just go live and not have any kind of announcement at all. I don't know. Hearing about the 2 suicides Keffels copied for your vacation. Did you feel like you hit on that point enough? Yeah, I don't know. I don't even necessarily. I blame Keffels a little bit for that. The thing that I'm really disappointed in though is that there's just like the media that have reported on this have done absolutely no research at all related to They've done no research at all related to the suicides and everything around Kiwi farms. Like, you try to, like, I challenge you to do this. And also, if I'm wrong about stuff, feel free to shoot me stuff. Like, I might amend the subsite later if some stuff I got wrong. A lot of people are reaching out to me from that DIY HRT site to try to correct some stuff. I think some of it might be legit, some of it might not be. But when if you think I'm wrong on something, feel free to point it out. But if you Google, like, look for like 3 suicides Kiwi farms, like Google and read through all of the stories. It's all like the same shit reposted over and over and over again. Like it's like copied from like one thing. But none of them.
What kind of mid-2000s victory records bullshit are we listening to?
There's like no novel research or investigation at all. Like I don't know what these guys get paid to do. Like. Honest question, I'm kind of unclear about the relation with Kiwi farms and the other site. Is it just an offset where Kiwi farm users migrate to post things that violate KF rules? No, it's just a totally separate site. There's nothing to do with Kiwi farms. Usually, I'm being very, 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 very generalized here. I'm being ultra generalized. But usually, all of those weird like hacker sites and shit in the background, normally they all fucking hate each other. So for instance, if you were ever active in torrenting communities, people kind of think like, oh, torrents and docs groups and people that would leak and crackers and hackers, these guys all work together, blah, blah, blah. If you read any of the actual like nopins or pastebins that came with any of your torrented files, like every single like, they called cracker groups? I don't remember, they weren't called cracker groups. They were names for these groups of people. Like these people that would leak shit, they fucking hated torrent kids. Oh, scene groups, that's what I was thinking of. People that would leak shit like this, sometimes even they'd have explicit carve-outs in like the notepads that would come with things like fuck oink, or fuck these people, or fuck corners, or fuck these guys for taking credit for deleting their shit or whatever, like, or they just fucking hated them. But it's pretty common in the background that all of these people will like beef with each other. Like Kiwi Farms people fucking hate 4chan people, which fucking hate people from these other websites, and they all fucking hate each other, and they all take credit for each other. So yeah, there's like a lot of drama in like all these groups. Yeah, so if anybody ever presents these groups as all like working kind of like coherently as some unified terrorist group, they usually just don't have a very sophisticated understanding of like how these groups tend to function. Should you give your sense on DIY HRT against a lot of people saying about trans people dying too? I don't believe it. I'm trying not to acquiesce too much to like bad faith actors. Yeah, I don't think that anybody can come away reading my shit and think I hate trans people or whatever. I think I've done enough at this point. I'm not gonna grovel every single time I write anything critical of somebody in this community. Like, I don't hate trans people, I love them. Bullshit, I'm not doing it. Literally every Empress crack includes an entire essay of hate directed at other groups. Yeah. Types of accommodations that people like you and others are making for these people are actually incredibly harmful in these environments. The idea that it's funny.
Do you have any evidence to support that? In fact, I think it goes in the exact opposite direction whenever you bring up studies about accommodating trans people's identities.
Well, DARE is not a trans person's identity, so that's not linked to this at all. Number one. Okay. Number two, the idea, as I was saying before, the idea that we should infinitely accommodate people that have severe mental health issues that are making suicide attempts and posting suicide attempts on Twitter. It seems to me that the more empathetic recurring response is like, hey, you probably shouldn't be here right now, rather than continually validating these people as they engage past their own blocks in the most like toxic ways possible. And the thing is, you don't even have all the context here. You actually thought you could bring up Panda to impeach my character, or you could bring up Bad Bunny and Denim. On September 9th, she says,
I eventually got my stuff back in like 3 days and got an apology from the chief of police.
That's nice.
So, yeah, that was really nice. Not nice how they responded to the situation, but I'll take it.
And in a leaked series of Twitter circled tweets, Kevels reveals that she's using the money to travel around Europe and then returning to Canada after. These were, apparently you can make private tweets in your account that only your circle can see, but she accidentally had this up on stream. I cannot wait to get to my new apartment. I set up a studio. I'm staying in Ireland until the 27th. Then I'm heading to Spain until the 11th. I get my apartment on the 12th. I guess a nice European vacation, but... I would also like to bring attention to the impossible level of detail that her fiancé Alex on their September 15th stream seems to give regarding her arrest, despite the fact that, by their own admission, they were outside of the apartment because they were forced to wait in the hallway while all of this was happening. This is like a little JCSing, but one of the things that when people give like a high level of detail about an event, it makes me sus sometimes. It's very strange that Alex is brought in basically to talk about, well, what did you see happen during my swatting, basically?
And so I had to wait in the hallway, and I knew immediately what this was about because it had happened only a few weeks prior in Toronto. And I tried to tell them this, but there was no conveying that. And so they went to go get Clara, and I told them, she's asleep right now. She sleeps like a bag of bricks. You know, you're not gonna get her up.
So they were forced to wait out in the hallway. So keep in mind that Alex is out in the hallway the entire time that all of this is happening, okay?
They actually had to go inside the apartment, like in our front foyer, almost right to our bedroom door, and they yelled at Clara while she was in bed. So she got up. They were saying, Clara Sorrenti. Note that they did not use her dead name at this point either. They said, Clara Sorrenti, we know you're in there. Come out with your hands up. And totally asleep. She got up and came out of the bedroom door frame, and at that point, she saw a rifle pointed at her. She had been awake by barking orders of a police officer. And at that point, she saw a rifle pointed at her. She had been awake she was woken by barking orders of a police officer. Only had a gun pointed right at her. They were graceful enough to allow that.
Oh, I think a pair of pajamas that was like on the floor before I could even go out to see the police officers.
They were graceful enough to allow that. But yes, they most certainly had a gun pointed right at her within seconds of getting up. Really taken by surprise, and I knew she would be. And she screamed. And in that split second, I was like praying in my heart, please don't shoot her, because she was, you know, she jumped. She was making a sudden move, and I was like, please, no.
So just to reread these quotes, they actually had to go inside. Oh, and then also, if my stream gets taken down, I'll be back whenever. This is the same person that was trying to vandalize my Wikipedia article. I don't know if they got banned from Wikipedia or not. It was in Vosh's chat trying to spam report my stream. It's kind of funny that in the course of all of this, I kind of wanted to think about how I wanted to approach some of these people on Twitter. Kevels is actually using she has been banned from Twitter, so she can theoretically be reported for the same thing as me, but I decided against, like, I don't think I'm doing spam report shit, because I don't think it's worth it. But yeah, apparently they're very, 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 very upset in Vosh's chat, so she's trying to lead the way because vandalizing my Wikipedia article wasn't enough. But yeah. Anyways, so rewinding back to this. So these were the statements that Alex made while he was in the hallway. They actually had to go inside the apartment, like in our front foyer, almost right to our bedroom door, and they yelled at Clara while she was in bed, so she got up. She had been totally asleep. She got up and came out of the bedroom door frame, and at that point she saw a rifle pointed at her. She was woken by the barking orders of a police officer. They most certainly had a gun pointed right at her within seconds of her getting up. She was totally taken by surprise, and I knew that she would be, and she screamed, and in that split second I was praying in my heart, please don't shoot her, because she was, you know, she jumped. She was making a sudden movement, and I was like, please no. And I'm so thankful she's here today and that she wasn't hurt. How does Alex know how close they got to the bedroom door? How do they know that Sorrenti wasn't awoken by the pounding on the front door earlier or the commotion of the police entering the apartment? How do they know specifically what woke her up? How can they know if a rifle was pointed right at her? How can Alex possibly know that she jumped and made a sudden move if they were detained outside the apartment in the hallway? There is clear evidence that they were reciting events as Sorrenti had previously dictated to them, rather than presenting their own eyewitness testimony that they were brought on to give. No evidence has ever been presented linking this swatting to Kiwi Farms by neither Sorrenti nor any of the articles claiming them to be linked. This whole thing of Alex coming on and talking about this was really weird. It was like really obvious that he was just saying things that, or they, I don't know if it's probably them, that they were saying things that basically Keffels had already coached them through saying. Because how the fuck, if he's outside in the hallway, how is he saying things like, oh yeah, like I knew that she jumped immediately when they came? How do you know that? You don't know that. You said you're on the hallway. What are you talking about? The Northern Ireland swattings. After launching her successful GoFundMe, Sorrenti decided it was time to pack up and move to Northern Ireland. No journalist seemed to question the paradox of running to Belfast from a group of people that exist solely on the internet, but alas. Within 10 minutes of setting up and beginning her first stream on August 26th, Sorrenti announces the country she's in and that she's staying with a friend. This friend, Ellen, had already been doxxed months earlier on May 16th, so it was no surprise that Kiwi Farms quickly figured out who she was living with and where she was. I think this is her first stream where she says,
I'm okay. I am currently in Ireland.
I don't know why she would say this. This is Ellen's docs being reposted, I think. I don't know why we even included a screenshot of this, but good job. On August 26th, Sorrenti's new docs is posted to website Zero, a website she's aware of but still is yet to mention. It's important to note that Kiwi Farms will be down from August 26th to August 29th. A few days later, on August 29th, Sorrenti claimed that a Kiwi Farms user had identified her location and threatened to show up the next morning, despite knowing the site had been down for the past 3 days. Hold on. She also claimed to have identified the user and forwarded their information to the police. If this is true, and she was able to identify this individual, then there is absolutely no reason for her to believe this individual had any association with Kiwi Farms. In fact, she already knew he was from 4chan and the Foodistan community. She literally posted the 4chan thread in one of her tweets. This is further compounded by the fact that this user chose to post a note on 4chan on August 30th when Kiwi Farms was fully operational and could have posted it there instead. This is where she claims it was a Kiwi Farms user who identified her location in Ireland and threatened to show her address at 9 a.m., etc., etc. The individual, this is the person, the Teddy person that was reported on by Jesse. The individual who showed up and threatened Sorrenti's address is a foodist, someone who follows Foodistan, a grotesque YouTuber whose shtick is saying outrageous and inflammatory things about people who recently died. This user's been very active across 4chan, the rest of the internet, on a variety of easily identifiable accounts, according to another investigation done by Jesse Single. This individual has also explicitly stated they have no connections to Kiwi Farms, although I guess it's hard to take anything they say seriously. We tried to do a lot of background digging. Apparently this person's commented throughout like Discord communities, 4chan threads, but I couldn't find anything linking this person to, like they're not like a Kiwi Farms poster or user. I couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know why that's equal. I know what that's claimed, but Sorrenti would also claim on August 31st that the Northern Ireland police came to the apartment I'm staying at because someone attempted to swat me, although she notes that this time the police were very friendly. She would later talk about the same incident on September 2nd, claiming the same thing repeated itself, except Northern Irish police did not pull a firearm on me. Yesterday, as I was ending the stream to give updates on the Drop Kiwi Farms campaign, this was posted online just outside my address. Shortly afterwards, Northern Ireland police came to my apartment I'm staying in because someone had attempted to swat me.
This followed me. I leave Canada. Now I'm in Northern Ireland. The same thing repeated itself. Yeah. Except Northern Irish police did not pull a firearm on me, so that's cool. I appreciate that.
Police were more calm during this incident because Sorrenti was not swatted, nor was there an attempted swat. This was a lie. The person who originally contacted the police reached out to me to explain their frustration with Sorrenti's characterization of the event. Quote, I was the one that called the police to report who their stalker was, and they attended after that. I'm also really fucking pissed off that they portrayed an act of genuine concern and kindness as an attempted murder. The expanded call is to a redacted police station. Wait, hold on. The expanded call is to redacted police station where I spoke to the desk sergeant. During that 17 minutes, I tried to add information to an ongoing investigation as I had given Keffels time to report it themselves. I didn't speak to anyone actually investigating, and I reported that there was a threat that had been made. The Kiwi Farms that contained Teddy's docs and the Kiwi Farms page that contained his picture. At no point did I indicate that Keffels had committed a crime. However, it is likely that I reported that someone had reported a threat against Keffels. What is happening here? Jesus. Okay, sorry. The person also added, on the H3H3 podcast, Keffels said that the swatting had mentioned a stabbing, but that there were no guns when they visited.
Are the Irish police cooler about it?
Oh yeah, no, like, someone called in saying that there was a stabbing in the apartment I'm in, and they just sent 2 police officers and they were knocking at the door. Like, compared to what happened in Canada when I got like an assault rifle pointed at me, that's nothing. Cops are playing with a cat here.
On the H3H3 podcast, Keffels said the swatting had mentioned a stabbing, but there were no guns when they visited. This link shows the armed response unit which is deployed for when someone reports a stabbing in an active situation. Here's a link to what police do when an actual, like, I wouldn't say SWAT, when a real threat is called in Northern Ireland. This is how the police typically show up. There's a picture there that shows a dynamic entry. Someone with Ellen's background wouldn't realize that Northern Ireland does actually have a history of armed violence, and the PSNI response to that violence is equivalent to the USA. The evidence strongly supports the story Keffels gave on the H3H3 podcast about being swatted here is utter horseshit. I had this person told me a lot more that is kind of personal I want to include here, and then a second Irish person emailed me that was very, very, very pissed off. Both of these people were, because Northern Ireland has a large history of a lot of violence, and the idea that police show up and just kind of like play with your cat and hug you and everybody's nice peaceful, both people were pushed back against that adamantly. That they were super, super, super upset that that was the impression given about how Northern Irish police show up in response to threats, because the country does have a history of violence, and police don't fuck around with that. This is an interesting email I got though. I feel pretty comfortable that I was able to verify they showed me a picture, or I got a map where they live, they showed me like a call log and calling the police, and they described everything, single line pretty well. I'm not gonna release this personal information, but Sorrenti has given multiple versions of events concerning the attempted swatting of her apartment in London, Ontario. The initial version paints the police force as reckless and transphobic, but later clarifications paint them in a much softer light, with none of the initial accusations of transphobia being verified. There was never any proof linking the initial swatting to Kiwi Farms. Sorrenti has lied about at least one swatting incident in Northern Ireland and painted the visitor who held the sign in a knowingly false light. She was aware of who the individual was, referencing his Twitter account, and even possibly reporting his Discord server. There was plenty of proof to the contrary that the visitor in Northern Ireland on August 29th who posted the photo outside of Sorrenti's apartment had nothing to do with Kiwi Farms. Even the, oh god, there's just so much like random shit. Even that original sign that person held, this on 4chan, oh fuck, it's not gonna... It says Kiwi Farms all truants. Even that phrase is, it's actually coded language for KAT is the abbreviation, which actually means, I think it's kill all Taigs, T-A-I-G-S. This particular person is like a loyalist, and it refers, it's like a Taig, I think it's a slur against Catholics in Northern Ireland. I don't remember if Jesse covered this in his thing or not, or this is other stuff that I read, but Jesus. So anyway, I guess I'm apparently from the chat. I'm thanking you and all my please stand from this community. I don't know if she's saying what YouTube. I've been showing my face. What? Daniel Brockman, you okay, buddy? But anyway, yeah, Jesus. this guy that's single interviewed? I believe so, yes. Ugh. Part 5. The GoFundMe Heist. It's been mentioned a bit so far, but it's worth going into the details surrounding Serenti's GoFundMe. Many of the claims surrounding the purpose of the funds raised from the GoFundMe are exaggerated in an effort to raise as much money as possible. This is especially egregious given that Serenti has bragged about how much money she makes and given how much financial support is needed for at-risk members of the community. This is her linker. I don't know how much money you think I did. That was only 6 figures this year for the GoFundMe account. The original GoFundMe's goal was $20,000, though she continues to raise the goal as more and more money has been raised, despite the fact that GoFundMe allows you to raise more money than the original goal. This was them raising the goal every time they approach this cap. You can see that bumping it up over and 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 over. I don't know why they didn't leave it to like go over, but I know why, because she's constantly trying to raise as much money as possible. While she would be fastidious about increasing the goal every time the previous one was hit, she would never add any further clarification to some of the demonstrably false claims made in the initial video, nor would she adequately justify the progressive increase of the goal. Serenti claimed that they started a GoFundMe to 1. Move immediately, 2. Recoup her losses, and 3. Build a legal fund to protect her rights. I link again the entire GoFundMe video. I've got multiple links inside. I don't need to revisit these, but Serenti claims that police dead named her several times during her arrest and when booking her, though she and her partner Alex would go on to make claims contradicting both of these statements later in a September 15th stream, as well as an official statement released by the police chief claiming that Serenti was never dead named once in custody. Serenti claimed that the incident reveals the prejudice that many police have towards transgender people, despite them initially confronting her, using her given name, and apparently never using her dead name while she was in custody. There is no evidence that police used her pre-transition first name, which is what most commonly is referred to as a dead name. The only evidence Serenti has ever posted are evidence bags showing her previous last name. Serenti claims that because of the negligence of the police, her and her fiancé were both left functionally unemployed, and that she has spent thousands of dollars replacing their computers and cell phones.
Because of the negligence of the police, we were both left functionally unemployed, and I have spent thousands of dollars replacing our computers and cell phones, so our lives aren't completely destroyed by what happened to us.
She has never posted proof of repurchasing any cell phones or computers. Her phones and computers were returned to her in 3 days as well. She suffered no losses, yet never updated the GoFundMe to reflect this. In a leaked conversation, Serenti admitted to keeping the money she'd raised in her savings account until she needs to use it, and she publicly stated that she will never do a GoFundMe breakdown for bad faith actors. It's also been leaked from her Twitter messages that she's currently vacationing in Europe. I will never do a GoFundMe breakdown for bad faith actors who never support me nor contribute to the fund in the first place. Everyone who donated to the GoFundMe is a refund button that choose to use any form of not concern for the rest of On an August 10th stream, when speaking about why she is continually raising money to GoFundMe, she reaffirms that
People have been really questioning, mostly bad faith people. I haven't seen a lot of people do this in good faith, but I've had a lot of people question my GoFundMe fundraiser. So here it is. It's currently at $74,000. And people kept asking me why I'm raising the goal when it hits the goal. And the reason why is because, yes, I'm using these funds to move, but more importantly, once I'm safe, the rest of those funds are going to be used for legal expenses. Because I'm not just moving, I'm also taking legal action. I already have 1 lawyer, and I'm consulting with 2 more. I'm going to get justice for what happened to me, and for every other marginalized person in this country who has been victimized. Legal fees are incredibly expensive, and I feel very fortunate that I was able to raise this much money, because I would not be able to take legal action if it wasn't for that.
Let me reread. Once I'm safe, the rest of those funds are going to be used for legal expenses because I'm not just moving, I'm also taking legal action. I already have 1 lawyer and I'm consulting with 2 more. I'm going to get justice for what happened to me, for every other marginalized person in this country who's been victimized. Legal fees are incredibly expensive, and I feel very fortunate that I was able to raise this much money because I would not be able to take legal action if it wasn't for that. Note that this is not a reasonable explanation for the continual raising of the goal. The goal moved up as the money was coming in and was never set at the amount that she would need to cover such legal expenses. The goal seems to always track the money in rather than any fixed cost. At this point, the GoFundMe had raised about $74,300. However, on August 21st, she was more careful with her language, stating this time, why do we have 20 seconds of dead silence at the start of the clip?
Literally say this shit as if they were the cops of the community couples. Because they think that nothing I say could ever be true. So as soon as the cops said something that was ambiguous because it was a PR statement and not actually what happened, this is never happened. I basically, after this happened, I was very mad at the police. And I wanted to hold the environment possible. I wanted to pursue legal action against them.
Potentially pursue legal action.
But they've taken the threat against them very seriously, and I want to see justice. There's a lot of leads right now, and they might actually be in the person's body. And what is going on? They're monitoring that. You might actually see something happen. They were trying to dox the police chief the other day. Like, I don't know why they thought they did that. I saw, like, it's really fun.
So now she says she wanted to even potentially pursue legal action against them, but they've taken the threat against her life very seriously, casting doubt on whether she'd pursue legal action against them. And then finally, on September 14th...
So, as you all know, I raised $100,000. I did it after I got swatted. People were so gracious, they came together and they helped me out. And while I really respect it, it's brought a lot of people to do the QAnon brain bullshit about me, where they're saying I'm stealing money from my fans, and they say that this GoFundMe goes against the TOS. So, the thing that they say with this is that I said that this money was for suing the police, which I never did. If you read the full thing, because I know this is going to be viewed somewhere else, so getting out of the way, then we go to the next thing. I keep raising it. The reason I did that in the first place was...
So now she says, the thing they say with this is that I said the money was for suing the police, which I never did. She also claims she wanted to raise, she says this later, I didn't watch the whole 3-minute thing, but she also claims she wanted to raise $100,000 from the very beginning, so she kept raising the cap until she got there, and then she's also claimed that she simply just wanted to raise as much money as possible. She goes on to claim that she's used the GoFundMe money to pay an entire year's worth of rent.
Raising a $95,000 goal, and when I looked at this yesterday, I'm pretty sure the goal was still at 90,000. I might get that wrong.
It's going up and up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they just keep shifting it further and further so they can just keep trying to raise as much money as possible.
Yes. Problem?
Yeah, she basically goes on to say that, she used, yeah, she basically paid off 12 months rent in an apartment. Which also doesn't make sense. If you're trying to rent from doctors, why would you pay 12 months rent in advance? Now if you get doxed in your new apartment, you're locked there for a year. What? So let's review from her original claim. Number 1, move immediately. She used the money to pay for 12 months rent in advance, but rather than move immediately, she seems to have taken a vacation around Europe. Some of the people that she saved were people that were already doxxed. You just raised all this money to hide from people. Why are you moving with people that are already doxxed? Why are you moving with anybody at all? What's the money for? Number 2, recoup her losses. There were no financial damages to recoup. She got everything back in 3 days. Everything came back in 3 days. What are the financial damages? Number 3, build a legal fund to protect her rights. Serenity is now claiming that she is not going to sue the police. What is the legal fund? What are the rights being protected? Is it just money that sits in an account forever for a lawyer? According to GoFundMe's fraudulent campaign policy, examples of expressly forbidden fraudulent activity include posting misleading statements in the fundraiser story. It's up for them to decide if anything thus far is misleading, though the answer seems obvious. Woo! Okay. Take a minute, take a stretch. This next section, things are gonna get pretty wild. This is the one they're trying to take us out for, boys. Whoa! Yikes! We learned a lot of things about the internet. In part, this next section. Section 6. Bathtub hormones and spy games. Sorrenti and Chloe, at Bob Posting on Twitter, have worked together to promote the do-it-yourself hormone replacement therapy directory, a wiki that has been the subject to much mystery and controversy over the past few months. There have been many claims made about improper behavior and questionable services offered by the do-it-yourself HRT directory. After some thorough investigation, I'm able to offer a bit more insight into some problems that exist with this service. Before I dive deeply into this, however, I would like to reaffirm that I am a strong believer in making safe access to hormones and other appropriate medical interventions available to trans people who need them, including minors. We must be cautious, however, when we allow questionable individuals with shady histories and deceitful messaging to be the people illicitly offering these treatments online, especially when it may harm the minors in question. Firstly, it's important to recognize that Sorrenti was a big supporter of the DIY HRT directory. Sorrenti began supporting the directory in June 26th of 2022, tweeting that she is donating thousands of dollars a year to the website so people can access hormone replacement therapy before the age of 18. And follows it with another tweet saying that she will never back down. Chloe acknowledges and thanks Sorrenti for the sponsorship. I am donating thousands of dollars a year to a resource so people affected by hysterical anti-trans laws can access hormone replacement therapy before the age of 18. I do not give a single shit what you think. I am doing nothing wrong, nor will I ever back down. If you guys are wondering why she did back down, a few days ago, you're about to find out why. Wow! Thank you, couples, for your support for our project. Me and the team give our thanks. On a September 14th stream, she says that she stands by supporting the DIY HRT directory and compares it to AOC supporting abortion drugs.
I'm glad how well this went because I stand by supporting the DIY HRT directory. Just like in the same way that AOC decided to back a resource for abortion pills after Roe v. Wade happened. It's like literally the same thing. Literally the same thing. When the state steps in and says this piece of healthcare is illegal, the community should absolutely step up and find a way to provide that. I'm glad how well this went because
Up until September 19th, Sorrenti had a link to the DIY HRT directory on her website at couples.gg with an accompanying chat command to promote the website. You can see it on the site, DIY HRT, it was right up here. You can type in chat as well. Oh, Annie, hey, the same person that's trying to spam report my stream. Interesting. There's also in here linking it. But you can see lots of links being posted to it. Added the command, exclamation mark DIY, which applies to all the information you need to be informed on DIY, hormone replacement therapy, capital trans, blah, blah, blah. I believe that the check, and I think that the, she used it on social information. I believe that link is still available today, although they might have taken it down within the past couple hours, but we checked it, I think, yesterday or the day before, and it's still working. As a final side note, Sorrenti and Chloe have a long history of friendship with one another. These people have, this is just like, this is the tip of the iceberg. These people interact with each other a ton, and we'll see later that they are close friends. On September 9th, Sorrenti was invited as a guest on the H3H3 podcast and was questioned about the DIY HRT directory. She was incredibly evasive during the interview, too nervous to offer much information unless directly asked, and ended up telling a couple of embarrassing lies about the site itself. The original claim, Ethan asked Sorrenti where they do the DIY HRT directory promotion. Sorrenti claims it's just a Twitch stream open and in public.
I mean, some of them do actually have the support of their families, but some of them don't. Like, some of them are in, like, really fundamentalist Christian households, and the only place they really feel safe talking about being trans is on the internet.
And so where do you guys do this? Do you do like a Discord or something, or like a community?
I was like a Twitch stream.
Oh, just on Twitch?
Yeah.
So it's all just out in the public?
Yeah.
Because they make it sound like you have some kind of secret or some community spot that's not publicly seen where you're talking with kids and stuff, but that's not even the case.
No.
A few minutes later.
I want to give you opportunity to talk about this with people who are forming this app on your website, couples.gg. You have a link that says do it DIY HRT.
Yeah. So it's a website where people can learn about DIY hormones. Basically, I mean, some...
Later on in that same show, she's supposed to admit that there is a separate directory she links to from her own website. I don't believe she ever brings up any of the locked rooms in the Discord as well. I don't think we have anything about the original claim, Ethan asks about homemade hormones.
And then they also say, I guess one of their problems is that you are supporting young people, young trans people who didn't have access to hormones. You're recommending homemade hormones.
Oh my god. No, I don't know how to make homemade hormones. I noticed the new thing is they're saying that I'm teaching people how to make hormones in their bathtub, which just sounds insane.
While it sounds like an extreme claim, Chloe, one of the co-founders of the site, has actually given tips on brewing testosterone and estrogen in a bathtub, as well as making several jokes and references to doing so. She's also referenced minors and pink pilling, the act of convincing someone they're trans, on multiple occasions as well. These are a lot of old posts by her on Twitter and in Discord. Transphobic parents doesn't provide child opportunities to get on legit HRT. Surprised that the child is self-medicating. Chloe, pink pilling minors is based, actually. They reach out and express a desire for HRT. Chloe, I unironically pink pilled like half a dozen minors. And by pink pill, I mean pointing them to HRT resources after they reach out. Best case against do-it-yourself and people against DIY who don't know that T is literally a steroid. No one tell him I've helped more than one minor or da-da-da. Pretend to be me in the replies. I just got a triple-digit number of people access to necessarily medical care last weekend. This is just true, though. Was I supposed to say something like I groomed a Discord full of minors into being trans and sold them bathtub estrogen laced with meth? This is also true. Random weird things. I will pay someone to do my estrogen shot. Somebody asks in Somebody asked this question of, when making bathtub tea or E as well, what are the best ways to make sure it doesn't get contaminated from my tub? Flow hood, deprogenation, depyrogenation, microfiltration, etc. Here's a list of bathtub estrogen collage, different chemicals that they ordered to mix and stuff. We'll get more into this later though, okay? You need to inject estrogen cook up in some pressed girl's bathtub directly in your car every other day, yes. Point of view, your bathtub estrogen dealers here, divorce value, etc., etc. I don't groom children, I shoot dozens of kids every week. I buy bathtub estrogen for cryptocurrency, hide it from their parents. What are you talking about? It's okay, unironically help like half a dozen minus per bathtub estrogen from Mayo. The info immediately order bathtub estrogen for cool friends, not on endocrinologists. We'll get more into that. Maybe it's just memes. If Sorrenti is going on the record claiming that she supports the directory and supports minors using it to acquire hormones, why was she so dodgy during the interview? A website offering medical guidance to minors or linking to people offering to ship them illegally manufactured and obtained drugs deserves far more scrutiny than Ethan was willing to provide. Things get even more strange when you examine the directory's ties to Wotlk Pharma and Alina Kiev. We'll get into this. On September 13th, 2022, a user on my subreddit, Mr. White Raven, made a subreddit post criticizing Sorrenti and the DIY HRT directory. The post was able to provide a screenshot of a bathtub HRT guide, but he doesn't link to it or explain how he's able to find it in his post. After some investigation, my team managed to track down the exact guide the post was referring to. It was written by a user who goes by the online alias Mirrorcard. This guide originates from two posts Mirrorcard created on 4chan on April 18, 2020 to promote their website. This guide gives explicit instructions for how to brew your own hormone, including sourcing all of the supplies from various sites on the internet, as well as how to actually manufacture your own hormone solutions or injection. So this is one of those guides. It talks about the different injections you need, different suspensions, the materials, how to cook all the materials, and everything. Process by doing it all. You can also email them if you want them to ship you their own stuff that they brew themselves, but... There are no longer any public links to any particular guide on the DIY HRT directory, and the page was created long enough ago to have the old Wotlk Pharmaceuticals website. I'm sorry. Give me a second. There are no longer any public links to the guide on the DIY HRT directory, and the page was created long enough ago to have the old Pharmaceuticals website do some more investigation. Hold on. Sorry, I didn't. Yeah, okay. Sorry, let me restart this. There are no longer any public links to this particular guide on the DIY HRT website, and the page was created long enough ago to have the old Wotlk Pharmaceuticals website on it. It's listing an old site for an outdated URL. Through some more investigation, however, we determined that this link to this site is still being given out. Firstly, the creator Mirrorcard is still active on GitHub as of September 2022, and this is exclusively the type of content we engage with. Secondly, we were able to find a random GitHub account on Rexicide that was created on October 26, 2021. This account has starred or favorited the repository on GitHub after all public links to the guide are already taken down from the public-facing DIY HRT directory. Therefore, this guide to brew your own hormones must still be sent out privately in DMs, probably after purchase is made on the Wotlk Pharma website. Okay, still going. This will be relevant in 2 seconds. I'm sorry, guys. After creating a dummy account for the Wotlk Pharma site, we noticed a download section, which could be a place where the guide is distributed after making a purchase. We've also managed to track down multiple old 4chan posts, as well as a deleted Reddit thread where the link was being given out by anonymous users and the author themselves. Analyzing all of these submissions is how we were able to determine that Mirrorcard, aka GC146, Lil__Lily, Yukinog GC or whatever, and Lillian, founder and current owner of Wotlk Pharma, is the one distributing the link. Mirrorcard is confirmed they're from Brazil, has made a post about learning DIY HRT, and written a guide on it as well. Their legal info also lines up with Wotlk Pharma CNPG, the Brazilian National Registry of Legal Entities. Also worth noting that Wotlk Pharma is illegally registered as a retail seller of food products and does not have a license from Anvisa, the Brazilian Health Regulatory Agency, to sell products intended for therapeutic or medicinal purposes. We decided to further investigate the Lena Kiev site listed on the DIY HRT directory, which led us right to another bathtub HRT guide. Lena had already written a DIY guide years ago with a better formatted version being distributed in 2022 on 4chan. These sites have clear instructions for making hormones from scratch in your home and have material sourcing directly linked. The guide was also linked at least once in Sorrenti's Discord, although many channels are locked down, making it hard to know how many times it's been linked privately. Also interesting to note that they link to a guide giving step-by-step instructions on how to cook your own mixes while simultaneously advising you to ignore some of the dosing guidelines by the guide's author, Lena. After discovering at least 2 guides posted on the DIY HRT directory in regards to brewing your own hormones, one must ask, why has Sorrenti continually misrepresented information present on the wiki, especially when Chloe herself claims to personally know all the providers on the directory? This is where you can click through. Maybe you can download some things from the site, although we didn't actually find it, but damn, archive the type. This is another do-it-yourself hormone replacement therapy guide. This talks about, like, I'm not going to pretend to use chemistry words to know, but like, how to mix the solutions, and so vials and water boiling, the pressure, basically how to mix the these are all of the, this is the HRT directory that basically tells you, like, where to buy everything from, like, how to get all the materials and everything for mixing and injecting. I never actually seen an investigation. Hey, what a weird dive down the 4chan Reddit hole. There's all of this investigation was. How to cook your own injectable estrogen diet by yourself. There's the DIY HRT directory posted above, but as a side note for purely educational purposes, here's a fun chemistry experiment you can try. This was linked in Catholic's Discord. But unfortunately, as you'll find out, once we started doing investigations, they started locking down and changing around the structure of a lot of this stuff. This is a really old YouTube video with Chloe in it, where she talks about knowing everybody on her guide. Now, before we get into the weird thing, so Chloe has messaged me and said, I literally never linked to that guide on my site. What are you doing? I was never even aware that homebrew guide existed, bro. I've never linked it on my site. Look through the archives. Why didn't you just ask me about this instead? I could answer all your questions. What are you doing? I've literally never linked this guide on my site. I literally discouraged homebrewing from anyone that's asked me about it. Now, that's what they've said. We're getting into weird stuff now, okay? Very fucking annoying stuff, but part of the reason why all of this kind of had to be underground. On September 14th, the day after the subreddit post goes up about Wotlk Pharma, the DIY HRT directory silently delists the Wotlk Pharma and Lena Kiev site from the wiki. I believe we're tracking everything on their Git. So you can see on the Git that they delete this and they delete this. No announcement is made. And then if you go to the thing, you can see the before and after, where home resourcing, it used to be listed down here, the Okanoko one, and I think the Leave one as well. Yes, both of these were listed, and then both of these were taken down. So I don't know why Chloe is messaging me right now saying she's never linked to any of this stuff or supported any of this before, but well, I do know why, and we'll get to that. That very same day, Sorrenti admits to browsing my subreddit for posts about herself, making it clear that they are monitoring my community to determine their next moves.
I was looking for this thread that got posted on r/Destiny. It was like a Keffels Groomer mega thread, because r/Destiny is basically Kiwi Farms when Kiwi Farms is offline, which makes sense considering Destiny is a Kiwi Farms user.
On September 15th, the DIY HRT directory is updated once more. Two crucial updates are added. Number one, a web crawler check is added to the website to keep track of links that my team and I are archiving on archive.org. So they added a web crawler, and they're starting to monitor every single thing that we're linking on the archive.org website. From this point onward, it's clear to my team and me that they're working in the background to bring down questionable websites/git/tweets based on what we're investigating. Number two, an age warning is added to the DIY HRT directory after seeing we archived many links relating to their activities and DIY hormone guides on the internet. So if you go to that website today, now there's an age link saying that you need to be 18 or older. This is incredibly strange, given how much Sorrenti and Chloe have explicitly advocated for this site to be used by minors. I don't even know if I need to go through and click like every single one of these different things. These are some of the Chloe things, of like pink pilling people, anti-trans things before the age of 18. Oh god, this is one of the boxes that come from that Okanoko Pharma site. Keep out of reach of parents. This whole website is so fucking weird. It's also strange to add an age disclaimer, which is claimed that the website is simply an information guide.
Yeah, another thing to state. The DIY HRT directory does not provide hormones. It doesn't provide anything. They have no resources. It's literally a website filled with links to other sites. They do nothing. It's literally like a Wikipedia page. Just an information guide.
Within the next week, they would remove more language from the website, advising minors to seek adults who purchase Bitcoin for them. There are other sneaky, unannounced edits to Bitcoin. You can see the language here. If you're a minor, get a trusted adult to purchase Bitcoin for you, or go to your local Bitcoin ATM. That language was changed too. If you're unable to, get a trusted friend to purchase Bitcoin for you, or go to your local Bitcoin ATM. You can see that they changed around some of the language here to get rid of the references to minors. All of this started happening after they noticed that we were archiving stuff on the archive website, by the way. On September 17th, 2022, Chloe reached out to me in DMs after seeing our activity on archive.org in an attempt to limit the information shown in this document. She also connected me with Sorrenti herself, and for the first time ever, had a direct conversation with her in which she implored me not to release any additional information about her, subtly remarking that it would be incredibly damaging to both of us and would likely cost my YouTube channel in the process. So this was Chloe reaching out to me in DMs. Me and my whole team are talking. We know what's going on when she's reaching out. But basically, I just asked me about all the fact I got docs as fast as possible. I go back and forth and we chat for a little bit. And towards the end of this conversation, she basically mentions from Keffels, she says, "Oh, I remembered one more thing. Keffels is unironically and genuinely offered that you never speak or tweet about her again. She would do the same for you. For what it's worth, I do think she's being genuine. I don't know if I believe that one. Maybe there's a text between the two of them. Wait. Oh, and then I think she posted one image and deleted it. I saved it. And she says, I think she's unironically tired with all the drama. Surprising, I know. Who wants to go back to boring regular streams? But like, you and I know it's very hard to avoid engaging when people poke at her. Yeah, I mean, it's similar on my end. Obviously, she's got the check marks on her end, and I'm fighting an uphill battle. I'm starting to dig through the Kiwi Farm shit, but going through archives and decent data stories, I honestly zone the fuck out so hard because it's all such a clusterfuck of shit. At the very least, I think I have to respond to the manifesto/Google Doc she dropped on me, though. It's so messy. I don't know how everything got this big in mail, unless she publicly retracts. I'll let her know. Bruno Leakey's, but honestly, I regret letting her respond to the DIY site. No amount of money is worth what I'm dealing with now. And then I said, yeah, I can imagine. I'm surprised it doesn't spam DDoS and shit by KFers or other actors yet, but they might actually try to hold their own shit of them, blah, 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 blah. And then Keffels reaches out to me. She friend adds me. Hi, Steven. I thought it'd be good to keep an open line of communication. I want to make it clear, I didn't add you to antagonize you. I'm not heavily invested in fighting with you, nor is it something I particularly enjoy. I would rather be doing things I find more fulfilling on a personal level, and I'm sure you feel the same. Chloe just told me about your conversation, and I wanted to have a way to contact you in case it was ever pertinent to do so. Yeah, sure, I understand. I'm a bit worried about the back and forth means it will end up going on for months more. I feel a bit like I kind of have to respond to your Google Doc about yesterday, and I'm sure you want me to respond to the response, etc. I'm sure you want to respond to the response, etc. Although seriously, yeah, it would probably be a good idea to move on from these fights. The Google Doc isn't new. It's just the resource folder from the 7-hour stream I did 2 months ago. One fear I have is that ever since the swatting incident, I have a lot of MSM backing and dozens of journalists following me now. If we both continue down this road, there's a chance journalists will start to pick it up and make it enter into a news cycle. I don't think either of us wants that. It would be incredibly messy and have repercussions for both of us. Okay, I'll consider it. If I make a response, it might just be me giving context to /disagreeing with some of the screenshots, but I'll make sure August doesn't make a video about it. I was planning to release my reaction to your clear ban as a video in the next couple of days, but my reach outside Twitter is pretty minimal. I can scrap the video to help still trust between us. I've heard what you think of my intentions, but I want you to know that my intent towards you is never malicious. The truth is, I felt threatened because our initial interactions led to me getting posted in your KF thread, and consequently getting my own thread. When you explicitly mentioned my KF thread in your manifesto, I was scared that I'd feel the fire. You don't like me, your community hates me, and there is more than likely at least one schizo in your community who will retaliate using my docs regardless and try to rank on the internet. When you started talking about doing a second manifesto stream and alluded to my website zero case, I was scared. Website zero users aren't stupid like Kiwi Farms users. They simply post the docs and are smart enough to know how to hack accounts, collect info from data breaches, and use social engineering to get the information they need. She knew about that website the entire time, but she never told you guys because she wanted to think everything on Kiwi Farms because that's what Crusaders was. Because that's what fame and fortune and media attention was. It wasn't on this other website that is a bit more scary than Kiwi Farms. Website zero retaliated against me when I started the campaign to get Cloudflare to drop to the farms, and they did a more comprehensive docs of my family and friends than Kiwi Farms ever did. Still, she's never ever mentioned it publicly. I'm glad you're reasonable. You're a really smart guy. I never doubted that about you. You obviously see how we both have the potential to lose control over the situation if it goes mainstream. If this situation ended up as a news cycle, it would put my friends and family at risk, and at worst, it could result in your YouTube channel getting terminated. I'm glad you agree with me that both of us walking away is the best course of action. I don't want to see either of us eat shit because of this. Okay, gotcha, makes sense. I'll think about it more from my POV, but I'm pretty content to probably just leave everything where it is. Even in the best case where my doc destroys you, it means every single person in my corner is a deranged transphobe /doxer/racist/Nazi etc. who's going to end up causing me more trouble than the positive exposure on any doc would ever get me regardless. For the first time, I had a direct conversation with Keffels in which she implored me not to release any additional information about her, subtly remarking that it would be incredibly damaging for both of us and would likely cost my YouTube channel in the process. The very same night, Josikins, the Psychonaut Wiki founder, reached out to me claiming that she and someone else initially started the DIY HRT directory. Yo, I'm very tangentially involved in the DIY HRT Wiki stuff. I got sponsors from Keffels while people have heard you're dropping some sort of content related to her. Is there anything I should be aware of? Does the DIY HRT Wiki stuff feature in it to an extent? I have no idea at the moment. I started that website with my XGF and a community member, blah, blah, blah. I was at Kiwi Farms, right on. Here I leak a little bit of information. Gee, wait, which person took over? Chloe? And wait, who was your ex-girlfriend? I'm so confused. I feel like something worlds are colliding, lol. What was the original domain of the site? So I'm trying to get info from her, and I think she's trying to get info from me. I have no idea who Chloe is. I think it's day8.wiki. If you could just not stress that whatever content you're dropping to whatever degree you can, I would really appreciate it. What it's worth, I really like your takes on transition and really appreciate your voice standing in the space. Yeah, I won't leak anything or anything. I won't leak anything or anything related to your stuff. Just trying to make sure I don't include you if you don't want to be included. Oh fuck, I deleted this message to try to make it look like I was hiding something. At some point, I think I messaged her, I'm like, you're not related to like the Lillian bathtub hormone or bathtub cauldron, I think it was called, or Leela's bathtub cauldron, something like that. She's like, I have no idea who Lillian is. Just minutes after leaking one of Neurotart's AKAs to her, the day8 GitHub repo is brought offline in order to hide any future changes to the website. So they delist the GitHub repo for their website so that we can't track changes on it anymore. So the project is no longer open source. Future snaps of the site are also blacklisted from appearing on archive.org, something only possible if requested by the owner of the domain. It's really funny because I think it was either, I don't know if it was either them or CyberDeacon suggested we should start taking snapshots of the snapshot because they're probably going to blacklist their domain, and that's absolutely what they're doing. So added to the DIY-HRT Git, they say, this is evidence that I own DIY-HRT.wiki and DIY-HRT.github.io. It is my request to have these sites removed from the Wayback Machine as per my email, trying to bring all evidence of all past archive stuff of this website offline and off of all the internet archives. And now when you check the Wayback Machine or any archiving sites, you cannot list or go back and see snapshots of the DIY-HRT website. If the website is merely a wiki listing other resources, as Serenity claimed, why so much secrecy surrounding the GitHub and the website? Why would they begin to track our archiving movements, and why would they take things down? 2 days later, on September 19th, Chloe tweets that harassment was forced her to shut down her Twitter and step away from the DIY-HRT directory. In the very same thread, she claims that Serenity has absolutely nothing to do with the decisions and had no input on anything relating to the website. This seems suspect given the level of coordination publicly and behind the scenes between Chloe and Serenity. But even if that was the case, there's no excuse for sponsoring directly, because the responsibility of Serenity to do her due diligence for sponsoring or endorsing any entity, particularly when it comes to something so intimately tied to the health and safety of minors. So this was 2 days after the 3 people tried to message me to drop our investigation. Recently, I've been receiving a significant ramp up in the harassment I've been facing. The situation has escalated beyond what I'm able to deal with. I will be shutting down my Twitter and I will no longer be involved in the DIY-HRT directory. Me and the whole current team of people who have developed it so far will no longer be contributing in any capacity to the site. Ownership of the site will be transferred to a new owner within the next few days. On a final note, just to be clear, Keffels has never had any say in the development of the site beyond the design of the sponsorship banner and how it would be run. Any changes made to the site were decisions made by our team only. Immediately after, the DIY-HRT directory link is removed from Serenti's website, but the track command was kept, and I believe that it's still there today, although they might have taken it off today. On September 20th, Serenti spoke of the site on her stream, claiming the harassment after the H3HP podcast was too much for Chloe to bear. She then explains that she no longer will be publicly involved with the DIY-HRT directory because she's too high profile and will direct too much harassment towards the site, a strange thing to say after comparing herself to AOC supporting abortion drugs.
Oh, any word on the DIY-HRT directory? Okay, yeah, I can talk about that. Like, I'm sure you all heard Chloe Bob posting, who was like very involved in the DIY-HRT directory, has decided to leave the internet, and also we came to a decision mutually that I'm no longer sponsoring the DIY.
Why is the voice picture? It shouldn't be. I don't know if there's a glitch in the audio or what, but nothing should be pictured.
HRT directory is going to be switching to new ownership. So when I initially sponsored them, it's because they were running on like a really shoestring budget. Like I had no money, and I wanted to use some of the funds that I was getting from my Twitch stream, kind of like popping off and.
It might be the. Oh, apparently the VOD was fucked. Somebody said this. Way to go, man.
To support them, 'cause I think they do great work. I think they're a very.
No, this VOD was super fucked. We had to go to like very strange things. We had to start downloading, archiving everything we know, so we're starting to delete shit. So some of our evidence, I guess maybe this particular evidence, we couldn't go back to the original anymore because everything was being like brought offline. I think.
Valuable resource.
But this was her talking about the harassment. Clearly, she wanted to bring it down, and then.
Could I make my own directory? No, I can't. Like, the problem with me is that my profile is too high, and anyone who is like anyone who's associated with me basically is at the risk of getting harassed a lot. So I think like it's best if I stay away from things like the DIY directory, because although I support them and I want to see them succeed, my involvement publicly will hurt them. It will direct really bad actors towards them. They'll get harassed, and I don't want that to happen.
Oof. Keffels, a character analysis. I don't know if we'll go through all the shit on this part, but in the media, Serenti is widely regarded as an online trans activist hero, waging fierce wars against hateful adversaries across the battlefield of the internet. David Gilbert of Vice regards her as a transgender activist. Amar Khan of Global News remarks that Keffels is a proud trans woman who advocates for transgender rights and often covers issues in the news through a critical lens. Her existence has led to her being attacked online with trolls, mass reporting, getting her suspended from Twitch and Twitter for breaking down issues facing the trans community. Taylor Lorenz of the Washington Post remarks that Keffels has been known among her audience as the ratio queen. Article after article seems to shower Serenti with praise, and in their mind, the only reason she ever seems to get any pushback online is due to her identity as a trans woman. This is really a fair analysis of why she's so widely regarded with ill repute. Internet bullying. We could have fleshed this section out way more. I don't know like how much I need to like include on this, but this is just basically a list of like all the really weird kind of shady shit, hypocritical stuff. Like just Serenti is widely regarded online as an internet bully. Her behavior tends to be abusive, both publicly and privately, to the point where she almost comes across as sociopathic. I think it's them we're making fun of Joshua looking weird or being fat or something. I don't remember. There's like a ton of clips of this stuff. Here's like the thing where she literally doxes his fucking mom. Joshua Moon's mother, Candace Lynn Potter, was fired from her job in 2018 having an account on her son's hate forum Kiwi Farms, posting pictures of his mom and shit online. My threat, and then when somebody calls her out on it, I think this is Mr. Medicard, Quarantine Coof. My thread is full of photos of my entire family and Joshua encouraged. I posted one photo to not ask for harassment. I don't care about your crybaby bullshit. Everyone upset that I posted a photo of Joshua's mother are being performative as hell. As a result of his forum targeting me, my mother's gotten doxed, gotten threatening phone calls, letters sent to her house in my dead name, and emails harassing her for months. Keep crying. If you have an active Kiwi Farms account, I will not only post your name publicly, but I will find out your employer and forward them to your post history. I have no tolerance for hate, and users of this site should feel more scared to get as bold as they do. This is a hate group. So I think she's just threatening to dox every single person with a Kiwi Farms account. She had a this is like a whole other thing. I found out who the Kiwi Farms user was from dox. My mother sent a photo of his name, his account. Unlike him, I'm not posting online, but if he comes back, I know what he works for. He's never posted to his boss. So this was where everything exposed by users until ready to leak from her timeline and claims the leak blogs are fake, despite Chloe later confirming in our private conversation that Keffels had actually spoken to this user on Discord. So this was the log dump of Keffels being like a sociopath where, so she thinks she's doxed this person, and then she's like threatening him with a bunch of personal information. She's acting like incredibly cringe and like anime fucking sociopath in these messages about like making fun of his, just all sorts of shit. Now, she would go on to say that like, why would you believe things from a Kiwi Farms user? So she's saying that like the logs were faked. I'm assuming it's a Kiwi Farms op. However, when Chloe was talking to me privately, including anything about the like, conversation with Keffels and Kiwi Farms user Winter, all I'll say is it was on failed docs. Keffels got companies wrong with 90 accurate, Tim was blank, with another account. So conversation was Within the log dump, Pebbles posts pictures of Billy Jinx's mother, threatens to send him to his family, tries to blackmail him into leading his farms account, makes fun of him because she thinks of the military school with drugs, makes fun of what she believes to be the worst of his parents, posts pictures of himself with girlfriend, says he's acting as a retard, etc. She's told a YouTuber from to kill himself on multiple occasions. She publicly faked DMs to tweet about the quartering, and then after the quartering response to that, she claims she tried to get sponsors dropped. This is her like on her stream like faking DMs, and then she like tweets these out as pictures to her audience. Now maybe she'd say, well, it's obvious that I'm faking it, but nobody on Twitter knows. Serenity became abusive with someone in DMs because they unfollow her on Twitter. This is like an unhinged convo that Serenity has with somebody who she gets really mad because they unfollow her on Twitter because this other person is tired of all the bullshit. She tries to bully Jesse Single from reporting on website Zero. She goes on an unhinged rant and calls Stardust a fucking bitch because Stardust was questioning her about false accusations related to Flamenco. This is
But I can't really comment on that. I do know that, I mean, I feel like it's kind of hypocritical to be blaming him for being part of the forum, right? This is you stupid bitch. Really? Blaming him for being part of the threat and engaged in so much harassment that my fucking mother addressed was weak and they went after my family. How fucking discourse trained are you that this is actually something that you would say? Holy. So I'm not trying to get you mad or anything like that. I would actually be a fucking person. Right, I've expressed to you that I don't approve of doxing and I don't... He's in your head. Yes, he's in your group of him being in the He knows I don't approve of doxing, but Kiwi Farms... But you're like okay with it. So but you're okay with people who engage in that in your community because he's there right now. I mean, I don't think people in my community engage in that. I don't think my community is... Is Flamenco not part of your community? Is he not in your chat just like you said? He has a much bigger community.
she called her fucking at the end of this, I don't remember now.
We had this platform discussion 5 minutes ago.
He's in your fucking chat. You're not doing anything. You don't care. This is just
Unless you have screens, I'm willing to ban him if you have screenshots of him posting docs. But
he didn't post docs. He engaged in a fucking threat. He engaged in a group harassment. How are you so fucking stupid that you can't see that this is the issue? The issue is that he engaged in a group.
So again, just because people hate on me, right? And I would say the same thing about when people have been directly hate towards me. Just because they've engaged in it doesn't mean they're also responsible for every single thing that happens as a result of that hate.
He's part of the group that is responsible directly. He directly encouraged it. I've seen the shit he said about me. I've seen his thing like Cody stream where he uses memes that use content from the fucking thread. How is he not culpable here?
What kind of content does he use from the thread?
Oh, shut the fuck up. You want me to like pull up the Nazi site and look over his memes?
I mean, I don't. The reason I'm asking is because I don't pay attention.
You don't know.
I think we're talking about you.
This is why I'm mad. Because you have no morals. You have no principles. You're going to stand by people engaging in group harassment on forum and multiple trans people.
You're going to group harassment. Group harassment?
Yes, do you have anyone who wants to walk their door at night because they're scared because they got fucking like hate mail?
That's not right. I said that's not right. So come on to me
in your community. Who do you interact with? Who do you call friends? Because you're fucking snake.
But I need screenshots of him actually posting docs.
I'll get all those. He didn't post fucking docs. He engaged in group harassment.
He encouraged
other people by engaging in group. Do you know what group harassment is? You have more than 2 fucking brain cells. Jesus,
I know. I understand what group harassment is. I've had people on who's director entire followings come like me. So I understand what that is. But I still need to see like more than somebody just participating in right?
In a fucking thread, in the same thread.
I think she called her
harassment. Multiple people killed themselves over. Are you fucking how stupid are you?
Like how you made a spreadsheet of content creators who are all smaller than you that you wanted to.
Melina was on that spreadsheet.
Happy and I are smaller than you. And
yes, and Gabby and you both played Destiny, who also engaged in my Kiwi Farm thread, and I have the screenshots for this.
That's, by the way, that is just totally false. I don't even remember what she tried to fake on that. She tried to blame it on some other person, but that is just completely and totally not true.
If he posts docs with them.
No, he doesn't need to. It's a fucking group harassment thread.
Okay, but again, people
I already
slander me with Jesus, you have slandered me as a white nationalist and a white supremacist and a neo-Nazi.
Literally do nothing but shit because you are you've done parts of this. But if you want to take
That's one conversation. Here's another one where Hunter was going over a thread on stream, and I think he accidentally showed one of the posts that had one of her doctors in it. I think he did that. And he was obviously apologetic, but she comes on to ream him over it, and no apology is enough.
Then criticize people for other issues. Exactly, because if you want to take responsibility for it, why are you not listening about the bigger picture surrounding how you've done?
Or maybe he just showed her thread. Maybe he didn't even show the post, actually. He just showed the thread, not the doc. I'm sorry.
Wait, the fuck was the mistakenly showing the screen which had the dots on it? The fuck was not me criticizing you prior.
Yes, that is part of it.
No, it's not.
Making it unsympathetic to your audience before doxing me.
First of all, you're doing a good job of doing that yourself right now.
Oh my god,
second of all, I was literally calling you out. You're a dumbass tweet. I was trying to say you criticize me or this one.
And the only reason that you're apologizing is because you're a fucking puppy that pissed on the carpet. Now you're getting puppy eyes because you know you did something wrong. That's it.
Okay, you think what you like, that's fine. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's not
You're
really.
gonna keep doing this like Guru shit at me.
I'm not doing any Guru shit. I'm trying to say calm. I'm trying to make a human face-to-face conversation.
Why is this person upset that I doxed them? Are they okay? Shut up.
You're acting unhinged right now.
I'm not doing unhinged. I'm acting unhinged. You fucking cunt.
Okay, so can I ask you a question, please?
She's actually called for people on Twitter to get swatted before. Now this was made in 2021. She would in the future claim, oh, I didn't know what swatting meant back then. But baseless accusations. Certainly make whatever random accusation pops in her head at the time. Sometimes quickly walking back, sometimes not. She claimed I was a rapist. She walked back later. She claimed Dylan Burns, the rest of YouTube have was transphobic because he kept posting me on the shows. She claimed my wife was transphobic with no evidence into a large harassment from her community of bullies. She claimed Sansa was transphobic and she was getting banned from Twitch. She accused Flamenco of taking part in doxing her mom just because Flamenco posted on Twitter. She randomly accused her of being a pedophile and walked back when she went to chat directly her. She did this thing where she'd be like, oh, that person's a pedophile. And she'll watch chat for a while, and then somebody posted like, oh, and I'm gonna speak like, oh, maybe not. Canceling obsession. Serenity is never interested in engaging in honest dialogue or political conversations on the internet. Rather, her goal is to mobilize her community to spam report as many people as possible in an attempt to have them banned off of whatever platform they oppose her on. After the quarter responded negatively to her fake DM, she claimed she was email responses being dropped. I think he was transphobic against her, to be fair. I don't remember what it was. He made some trans jokes against her. But after some back and forth with Nick Rakita, she tried to get people to report him to the Minnesota bar. After Max reports on Twitter, his account was later suspended. I'm going to do this when I wake up. I would like to ask anyone who has the time to listen as well. He should not be in any position of authority while threatening to murder transgender people. She's getting support from the Alejandra Caraballo, journalist and another insane journalist that uncritically amplifies the sports all the time. She called for spam reports on Mr. Medicare's account after he negatively covered her on YouTube. After Mass reports on Twitter, his account was later suspended. She called for spam reports on my Twitter account several times every time I was critical of her. After Mass reports on my Twitter account, my account was suspended. She supported Mass supporting Nicholas Dario, I don't know how to pronounce his name. After he was critical on Twitter about her, Serenity put together a banned streamer list on her stream so that she could auto-ban all followers of these streamers on her Twitch chat. This led to Gappy V, someone who's added to the list just for arguing with Serenity on Twitter, receiving harassment from Serentity's community in an attempt to get Twitch to drop his front page sponsor. This was an opportunity given to Gappy V to celebrate Indian diversity on Twitch during AAPI month. Gappy V asked her to drop him from the list, and instead she made fun of him, angrily yelling, "You're a fucking loser, you know that? I hope more people in your life tell you that." This was like the banned streamer list she made, which was banning like every person who followed them from her chat. This is Gabby saying, putting in her chat, just stop putting me on the list and trying to bring me up. I've dealt with so much harassment because you bring me up. I want to move on, but you're bringing me up on the stream. I'm getting stuff.
Later today, I'll be banning all of your followers from being able to interact in my stream. I guess I'll return the favor since you've already banned me from your chat. Here you go. Ban. Yeah. Stop putting me on the list and trying to bring me up. No. You're a fucking crybaby. You're being a piece of shit right now. I'm not a politics streamer. I just suck up to people who make 41% jokes about trans people I don't like.
I've never made a 41% joke about her.
Shut up. You're a fucking loser. You know that? I don't want people in your life tell you that.
She encouraged people to vandalize my Wikipedia. One of her moderators, Annie43, attempted to do just that. So this is the person right now that's also a moderator in Wash's chat, who is trying to get me spam reported again right now. Oh, so this was Serentity's tweet. Let's see. this. Wow, very cool opinion, Stephen Manel, but animation account. I wonder what your Wikipedia article says about kiwi farms. On July 18th, allegations against Bonnell were made by trans activist Amber Capital claiming he had weaponized his audience and users from hateful and kiwi farms to keep harassing reports regarding Twitch stream that resulted in her being temporarily banned from the platform for showing samples of his alleged abuse. So the reason why she was banned was because she probably featured me and she had a bunch of like homophobic and other slurs in the whole thing of her. That's why she was banned. She literally quotes the wiki quoting herself. True. Yep. And then this is the there are few things I like that actually trigger me. Vandalizing the this also happened in the Suns community tried to get Gusano, they removed Epson days from the slur list because they were like, oh, no slur, because they were asking about that debate.
It says here, Gusano derogatory term first used by Fidel Castro towards Cuban counter-revolutionaries, okay? And I looked at this literally days ago, okay? Trust me, my word is my bond. I looked at this days ago, and it was there. Like, it links to it, and it was there. But it's gone. But it's gone now. It used to be there, right? It was there a few days ago. Oh my god, it was edited yesterday! Look! Planet Janet edited it yesterday. Oh my god, these fuckers are unbelievable!
But this is the Annie 43 person. I think she's a mod of VOD. She's a friend of co-founder of White4.st. Oh, she might work with White Post on shit. But there's a but you can go. Oh, apparently someone said she deleted her Wikipedia account after this. But you can go through like the talk pages where she's trying to add this allegation of me. And there's a whole debate from her on trying to get this. There's like an edit war on my talk page on Wikipedia where like she's trying to get this edited into my Wikipedia article because she's so ass mad. I think but Annie is they them. These were the claims. These are the tweets you made of the Ukrainian servers hosting do your own thing, which is really weird. Dog/swat baiting. Despite being traumatized by her initial swatting, Serenity seems to be constantly tweeting and talking about her plans for travel. This is one of the most frustrating things is watching her. Okay. Whoops. She constantly tweets about where she's going, where she is, and what she's doing. On August 14th, she needlessly posts images of her hotel room. Some she does again on August 21st. On August 18th, she taunts the people trying to dox her. On the 25th, she needlessly divulges an absurd amount of information about her travel plans. On August 26th, during her first stream in Northern Ireland, Serenity immediately revealed which country she moved to. On September 14th, she tweeted about doing an IRL stream of Putin truck that kiwi farms had allegedly threatened to bomb. On September 14th, she showed a tweet about going to Spain on the 27th. On September 15th, her roommate Ellen asked for suggestions for future IRL stream locations in Ireland. On September 28th, she tweeted that she was at a theater in London the previous night seeing a play. So many times she will just like bring up information. Remember the kiwi farms trying to bomb a Putin truck? Well, here I go. Last night I was in London. She so many times she has brought up like, and there's more. There's like 20 more for this too. Again, I don't want to make a list of like every fucking thing she's ever done on the internet. The whole CNN thing, like showing her like house everything, like Jesus. But Serenity is an incredibly divisive figure. While there are certainly malicious and transphobic actors that attack her because she is a uniquely vitriolic individual who was built for brand on bullying and harassment. Her entire claim to fame stems via coordinated harassment campaigns from her Twitch chat against individuals on Twitter into the master point of anyone who stands in her way until their accounts are banned. Many of the mainstream narratives surrounding kiwi farms are completely incorrect. The media has honestly revealed because they wanted a story where a website could be painted in an evil light, and kiwi farms is admittedly an easy target to bully. It is a forum filled with some of the most excessively hateful people on the internet. There is no definitive proof that any suicides can be primarily blamed on the website. No proof has been provided that the original swatting nor the visitor that showed up in Northern Ireland was from kiwi farms. Despite this, Cloudflare found it necessary to drop kiwi farms from its service, leaving the entire internet wondering who's next. Serenity has also used her figure as a representative of the online community and stolen over $100,000 in donations on GoFundMe. She did not need money to repurchase supplies, she has no intention of suing the London Ontario Police Force, and she seems to spend a good chunk of change vacationing around Europe. Her move to Europe is entirely unnecessary, especially when considering that doxing is done by internet people on an internet forum. Moving to another country does not make you any harder to dox, especially when you're moving with somebody who's already been doxed. Oh, I just said that, Jesus. On the contrary, she moved into her already doxed friend's house and immediately announced the country she was in, allowing her to get doxed again almost immediately. The DIY HRT directory is also an incredibly sketchy wiki. While it's nice that Serenity has distanced herself from it now, it seems to have only happened due to the heightened scrutiny she attempted to suppress by reaching out to me in a private conversation, employing me to stop my investigation. Chloe has made far too many questionable statements about minors to be all associated with a wiki like this, and any websites that link to guides for literally creating your own medical solutions demands an incredibly high level of transparency and scrutiny, both things that Serenity and Chloe have desperately tried to avoid. It would be my hope after this document that 1. Journalists stop treating Serenity with kids' gloves and do their homework when researching. 2. The Cloudflare releases a more concise statement for dropping kiwi farms, or else reinstates their service. 3. That GoFundMe releases a statement regarding Serenity's misrepresentation of the situation, or else returns the funds to the original donors. There are many stories that we want to believe, there are many facts we want people to accept. I don't believe this is born of maliciousness or even laziness. I believe this stems from a natural bias all people have that predisposes us to believe information seems more correct because it coincides with what we want to have. It's our responsibility as rational, capable people to not fall prey to these biases. We can and should do better to evaluate stories presented to us in the future, especially the stories we want to believe. Okay, Jesus. I'm free. I'm free of this nightmare. Hold on one second. So, a couple of other announcements. So I think on the back of this, I think we sent out 12 emails so far to different publications with information that we've uncovered to try to get them to either add more detail or completely rescind some of the obviously false or unsourced material that's been posted. I think my goal is to try to force either retractions or clarifications on a lot of websites that just make statements that just have absolutely no source whatsoever, especially relating to the kiwi farm stuff, because a lot of stuff that's posted just has no source, or its source is like, it's like a daisy chain of like random media things. That's one. Number 2, I retain the services of a lawyer in Ontario, Canada. I've already paid a retainer, and as soon as they complete the service, I am sending a cease and desist and request for retraction of statements that I believe that Serenity has knowingly made about me that are false. If she refuses, then I guess we'll go to the next step of that. That's the second thing. Thirdly, yeah, this has been like the past 2 years. The reason why I've been streaming so shortly and ending and stopping and being tired of all the shit is because I've been staying up late. I've read so much. There's so much that's not included in this doc. I got a lot of claims that were unverified. Some of these I will never share because they weren't verified enough, although they look sketchy. One interesting claim was there was a document that was supposedly being sent around to websites in order to get them to drop kiwi farms from their services. One of the people that was involved in making and sending this document was defected and showed me the document they were sending around. Interestingly enough, one of the claims in this document was for child porn. The person that contacted me said that they knew that claim was not true. Apparently it was a video of some video that Mr. Mecker did. But she said that, now this is kind of unconfirmed, she said that sending child porn allegations about Cloudflare, to other providers about kiwi farms is easy to get them dropped because people aren't usually going to verify that it's child porn. People are going to click through and check it. Now, I don't know 100% if that's true or not. I wasn't able to 100% verify it, but I mean, they sent me like the huge PDF that was being sent around to people. I see from their Twitter that they were previously involved in all of this. What else? Jesus, there's so much random shit I wish I didn't know that I don't care about. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, is there any questions? Any final questions? Do you have any safeguards in texting YouTube? I thought a lot about this. The advice I got in my personal life was like 50-50. Half the people said that I should just accept the peace offers from Keffels and leave it alone and never talk about it again. The other half said that there was some strong material in here and it should probably be pushed publicly. I thought about it, and like I feel like some of the sections here kind of needed to be saying. I really don't like that Kethels has essentially lied, and the entire kind of media has been dragged along in this insanely epic lie about her entire story. It's very frustrating. I will personally shout out for people that helped me. There was Can't Close Vim, Cyber Vegan, Docs, DOXX, no relation to actual doxing, Pretty Tony, Punished Furry, RTBA Lol, and TC Brady. And also aside from those main people, there were a couple other people that I fished opinions out of. Rose Risk reviewed this, offered a ton of suggestions. Wicked Scream went through this. A couple normie friends went through this. A couple other people that I don't think want to be named went through this. Are you in contact with any news agency to report the story? So, I thought about this a lot. Glenn Greenwald actually reached out and offered to co-publish this. I thought about throwing this onto his Substack. It was a really hard decision because obviously I would get way more eyes on it, but I was worried about being roped into anything else that he's involved with. So I don't know if I wanted to go that road. I don't know if it was worth it. That's like a kind of a deal with the devil kind of thing. I appreciate him reaching out, but yeah, I don't know. I finally opted against that, but. Why try to get Kiwi Farms back on Cloudflare? Someone's doing more shit. They really play with the platform. Is freedom of speech. So here's the issue. To be clear again, no one's gonna believe this. I don't like Kiwi Farms, okay? Kiwi Farms. But here's the issue. Kiwi Farms got dropped for two big reasons that I could see. One is that two threats were posted on the site. One with First Bomber House and some other rumor. Both of these threats were posted by sketchy users. Both of them were decried by the website, and both were removed within 15 minutes. If that's enough to get you dropped from Cloudflare, that's insane. Does that mean that somebody comes post in my chat? If somebody in my chat says, I'm gonna kill Kethels, and oh, now your deal is like, I use Cloudflare. Cloudflare sucks, I use. Can my website get dropped if I ban that person immediately? If I delist them immediately? Am I gonna get, that's insane. There needs to be a higher bar of proof to get delisted from the site. Yeah, but Cloudflare never made a good statement relating to why they dropped. I mean, they were notorious for harassment before. You say that, but I think a lot of I think that what happens is, so here's kind of what happens. Kiwi Farms is the most visible site on the internet that does harassment, but there's a lot of other things that exist in the background that are arguably responsible for more, and none of those websites are ever brought up because there's no glory in chasing those websites. People want to slay the dragon. They want to get Kiwi Farms. But Kiwi Farms basically ends up taking the fall or getting the blame for literally fucking everything. Even though a lot of the stuff, like the Uber Eats hacks, like the swattings and the doxings, like there's that one swatting that didn't even happen. The person emailed me and told me that they called the police. I just don't think it's right that like Kiwi Farms is getting like the blame for every single bad stuff on the internet. Now, if you want to see the Kiwi Farms get nuked up the internet for doxing, fine, but like it has to be for doxing. Like, it can't be made up other shit. You can't attribute. And like the problem I have too is that Sorrenti obviously knows in the background that this other site exists because she's trying to get other people not to talk about it, and then she's constantly and consistently blaming Kiwi Farms for stuff that the other website is doing. For future reach out to directly might not be concerned about future leaks. Is there any particular reason you leak those investors? Because I think that her and Kethels are fucking sketchy as fuck. So what we learned about the DIY agency site, Kethels' line isn't a comment on Chloe's open homebrew as was on the site itself. That whole section felt like a shot in the face. Well, Chloe says that she's never played anything related to this. She's standing happy right now, that she's never played anything related to it. I think that Kethels and all of them are running away from that site so hardcore. I think it shows that they know there's a lot of sketchy shit involved with it. I didn't know everything about how crazy it was that you could get so much stuff delisted on archive. They were starting to request stuff being pulled down. They were blacklisting stuff inside the archive. Did you record your private combo with Apple? Yeah, of course it was. Oh, what is this? Clarify that the DIY HRT has not publicly announced any change of ownership. Okay, RTBA really wants to say that. Why did you change your stance about creating a manifesto? Because once I started digging into stuff, I saw that like when I saw how insane all the lies were surrounding this, it like kind of drove me crazy. Like the three suicides were insane. That Chloe person, Chloe Segal, literally killed herself in a political statement about homelessness and mental illness. It was hijacked because of anti-Kiwi Farm manipulation. That's fucked up. One. The Julie Terry girl, her life is fucked, and she probably killed herself because her boyfriend/girlfriend Mike broke up with her. That's the most obvious thing that happened. The idea that those two suicides get more than 3 months is insane. The Near one could theoretically, I could buy that one because I don't prove that Near is actually dead. I was really close to posting proof that Near was still alive, but I would have to confirm a Twitch account that I think I thought I don't have that. Almost just Twitch account. Is Lawyer retained? Make it any chance? No. This is the end of the Kethel saga. So I'm probably gonna allow you guys to post on the subreddit for there's probably a oh, that any person is stupid as fuck. She's a little brain rot. What was I gonna say? Oh, I'll let you guys post for this for probably 24 hours, and then after that, I'm gonna cut off everything about Kethels, and nothing's gonna be posted or mentioned ever again. If you've watched her behavior over the past month, you can see her kind of swarming. She's just kind of like trying to start fights with people. She doesn't really have anything that she can do. Like it's yeah. Everyone's mad as fuck about the Peterson light. Yeah, I had to make some event to get people around, but I had to do a big switch because the problem is if I announce anything in advance, Kethels does this really weird shit where she tries to get me banned from everything. She spam reports all my accounts and she continually like discredits me, and they're like pulling information and everything offline. So it's like very like weird. But yeah, there's a really big bait. But I think please make sure you leave link to the manifesto 24 Oh, I think I actually made a Substack. I'll probably just post on there. Since I think it's probably better to have a Substack than like a Google Doc. Yeah. What do you think is going to be the result from this? I don't know. I'll see how my cease and desist goes. I'll see how the, like I said, we emailed, I think we've been at like 13 publications so far. See who will do any retractions on anything, see how that goes. Yeah. I think that's it for... But, okay. My life has been fucked over the past 2 weeks. I've been eating like shit, sitting like shit, haven't gone to the gym. Everything's been revolving around this dumb shit. Is there anything else? Any other questions before I close the book on this? Is there a list of publications and original articles? Can we track it? I don't know if we'll make that list public or not, I'm not sure, but... Do you think she'll push back on this? Yeah, she'll probably try to do some kind of struggle, but her docs and her, like, the documents she does on Google Drive, it's all really shit. She's really bad at it. But I keep saying that. I say that sometimes, like, oh, they're really bad at, like, doing manifestos. They're really bad at it. But the problem isn't that they're bad at it. The thing is that they're lying about so much. So I don't know what they could possibly do because, you know... What are you supposed to do? Any specific call to action or just information? Oh, if you see something, say something. If you see people online that are uncritically repeating Kiwi farms cause 3 suicides, say, oh really? How do you know that? Push back against that. If you see people saying like, oh, Destiny made 41%, if you see people saying that, push back against that. It's not true. I don't make those calls. If you see people lying about shit, yeah, I mean, you've got now. I'll release this. Like I said, I'll publish this Substack in probably an hour or two. You have all the information. You can go out and do it from there. Yeah. But any opinion on Brazil's election? All right. Well, we're good. Love you guys. Been fun. Destiny, what was the point of Brazil pharmacy brought up the DIY interest? See, that Brazil pharmacy is the Otokono pharma thing, where people can buy like hormone nutrition products. But it's registered in Brazil, but it's not registered properly, or it's not registered as a medical or whatever company. What do you think this would be career ending? Because I always get worried when I deal with people like Capital. It's really bizarre, but like I don't think I've done anything even remotely wrong that like, I should get in trouble for. Like I'm so careful when it comes to anything, but it's but yeah, okay. Well, I love you guys. Sorry for the late ruse, but hopefully you see it was necessary. We'll be back tomorrow. Maybe we'll do normal stream stuff. Jesus Christ. Just as a final friendly reminder, if anybody posts any docs, anything transphobic, everything is getting banned. I was able to reveal, we unveiled that like Keffels does have, she is a ban evader on Twitter. We thought about going back and forth and like doing like big calls to like spam report her Twitter, but I don't think it's worth it, so I'm not gonna look at any of that. I guess not really. If she wants to say shit on Twitter, we're free speech absolutists here, so fuck it. Oh, if you're worried about your internet information being tracked by sketchy websites that use on the internet, check out surfshark.deal/destiny. Surfshark.deal/destiny, 83% off, 3 months free. Check it out. Oh, and also, I have a friend on Twitter. Posts cool things sometimes. Follow that friend on Twitter. There you go. Boom, boom, boom. Knock yourself out.
I'm not dodging it. I'll talk to it.
Oh!
What's going on, dude?
Oh! No!
What? Wait. Calm down. Ludwig, you can get in here and maybe clarify considering.
Oh, he's bringing in Lud. It's 2-on-1. X is done. It's too late. He's fumbled it. If I send him the clip now, Hassan has built up enough like moral foundation that he can talk his way out of it. Like, there's no way that X can come back in this debate. It's over, dude. He's sent it to him. This is such a good time to bring the clip in. He's got it. Wait. Okay, here we go. Wait.
No, these people are. Why are people saying, oh no, Hassan? This is literally insane, unhinged
no, he's getting mad.
shit I've ever heard, brother.
I know what I see.
That is a severe fucking accusation, and it's disgusting. Pump this entire thing.
Train my throat.
I didn't even understand what you're saying.
This is Pokey should be allowed in this. She's too OP.
You can't. You have nightmares, and you can't even be with a partner again.
Pokey should
You have
allow.
nightmares. You're cuddling your partner in bed, and it just like.
Train X, holding on to drama as ammo for so long. The thing is that like everybody kind of is holding on to drama. There's always like drama that everybody's holding on to. People have over. People have done dumb or bad shit. Like this isn't unique to this situation. Like everybody knows shit that could like quote unquote end other people in the scene. It just is what it is. Why is it so quiet?
Scissors, thank you for the 20. Nick G, thank you for the 5. All of the subscriptions are also voluntary, and it makes up the majority of my revenue. And I think the most, it's the best way to do it. Okay? Other people have other ways of generating revenue. Other people want to go to ads. Okay? The platform spawns us to run a lot of ads. It's currently in contract negotiations with Twitch.
They will not do them.
Okay?
Is
Thank you for blessing us with the PC cut. Yeah.
I hate to tell them things. It's not a big league game. Throughout this year, pretty hardcore. It's gonna be real tough to fucking wiggle inside that one. Uh-oh.
Great.
Because wait.
You just maybe see me in a different fucking light.
Because you're talking shit. You're already talking.
You can know what I mean?
Clear the air. Oh, he's trying to get him to call?
This opportunity to make it right on Discord.
Anyway, not only is like I said, look, not only is all the content free, people voluntarily subscribe if they want to, and that's fine. But also, the reason why I do it, regardless of people fucking shitting on me or even making things.
Probably, sorry, probably said something about this, but do you think Train X the drama is ammo for so long? The thing is that like everybody kind of is drama. There's always like drama that everybody's holding on to. People have over, people have done dumb or bad shit. Like this isn't unique to this situation. Like everybody knows shit that could like quote unquote end other people in the scene. It just is what it is. Probably, true. Already said something about this, but do you think Train? Say it's true. It is true.
And I have incredible people in here who have literally fucking turned around and organized their own workplaces. You know what I mean?
Two people that have been abjectly horrible to me for years as a way to like impeach my character. You don't know because you don't know because you don't know. You have no idea. That's the problem.
I'm not trying to dunk on you, dude.
Are you serious, bro? You literally bring up 3 personal examples from my life. One of which is a person I was a restraining order against. You're not trying to dunk on me? What are you talking about?
Like counterbullying. I believe the tweet is something like
kids bully your oppressors.
Yeah.
In response to somebody saying bullies are children. Do you think like, so I'm curious because you're actually in these tweets now. You're directing people towards real life behavior that you can't just block. You're talking about going into real life and harassing people where they can't just like. Block
I would say that you would agree that there's a situation where political action is necessary, right? In regards to your
for kids? No, not really.
For kids? I mean, these were just high school students fighting. I think it was the
I would consider high school students kids. Yeah, I don't think that I would encourage them to be like harassing.
Well, yeah, sure, but like it's not like a bunch of 6-year-olds and stuff doing that. But that's
so since they're 16, it's okay to encourage them to bully other people for their political differences.
Now, let's go on to the next matchup. Now we're talking about the Wolfpack's rise. It's going to be Destiny versus Actual Jake. What do we expect with that? With this now, this match being 15 minutes away. We actually have an update from Actual Jake. He put out a tweet about the debate. You guys would like to see this tweet quickly? One second. Let me see it. The fact that my mod team feels the need to be vigilant tonight as I talk to Destiny about his toxicity, or hippy dippy, is like already a sign his community is bad. Like, look at my mentions in just WoW, LOL, DGG, man. Thoughts on the tweet?
You know, I think that this tweet kind of shows maybe the mentality that he's going into with this debate. I actually, before the debate, like, spent a couple weeks or so, like, kind of researching the whole topic idea and trying to figure out some advice that Jake could have, because I really think Jake does have a shot at being Destiny here. Let me see if I can share my screen here. I'll show it on my camera. I found this book. It's called Little Monkey Calms Down, and I think it should be very, very helpful for him. Poor little monkey. He's having a tough time. Little monkey feels sad and mad and angry. Calm down, little monkey. It's okay to cry. Calm down, little monkey. Cuddle with your blankie. Calm down, little monkey. Take a deep breath. Calm down, little monkey. Sing a quiet song. Calm down, little monkey. Be still and relax. Feeling better, little monkey. And as you can see, I was able to get some of the, this is a representation of the mod team. Now let's have a fun day. And I think this type of narrative is going to be very, very helpful, and this type of advice is going to be very helpful for Jake going into this debate, because as long as he's able to keep his cool and not just get mad, not just maul, he might be able to directly address these types of arguments and be able to engage in some type of intellectual discussion.
True. I think one of the questions that we need to ask here: what is scarier in the mind of the online left, DGG or MS-13? I think that's something we need to consider here, because DGG most certainly is an online boogeyman. What do you think, Danabo?
I can't think right now. Yeah, thanks.
I think Danabo had some really amazing insights there. I think when you compare MS-13 versus DGG, I mean, one thing to consider is that DGG calls themselves sometimes the Taliban, right? So I mean, if we're comparing the two right now. Right now with the invasion to Afghanistan, the Taliban, I guess in this case, the Taliban has gotten so much ground right now, and it's caused so many issues that I'm not really sure that we can compare the two right now when we're talking about kind of domestic gang violence with MS-13 versus right now what the Taliban is doing with its own type of invasions online. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for us to evaluate the two. But to some individuals, it might feel like both gangs are just as equally bad, right? Honestly, though, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the judges, what the judges feel, and whether or not they feel that DGG is completely being a boogeyman or whatever, is completely trolling them, or if DGG is something a lot more nefarious. If DGG is something that's trying to attack people, if DGG is obsessed about individuals, or they just spend all their time in offline chat debating dumb stuff like incest or like really dumb topics.
You don't want them to violate normal theory. What do you think about this, Loaderbox?
As for DGG, I've been watching Destiny's channel for the past week or two, and I've got this theory that it's actually Kyle Rittenhouse that is playing a big role in the whole DGG boogeyman thing. Kyle Rittenhouse is basically a content farmer for Destiny. That's my theory now. Like, from everything, from she shot 2 BLM guys, then he went on Tucker Carlson and said that he supports BLM, everything. Like, the submit to the mob, that was Kyle Rittenhouse. Every single person on Twitter who said that Kyle Rittenhouse shot black people was actually Kyle Rittenhouse. So I'd be more careful of that there's like definitely like some little teeny bopper bedwetters with guns lurking in the corner there. I would be afraid of DGG.
Now, the question that still has yet to be answered, specifically, is how is Destiny going to deal with the topic, toxicity on Twitch? Destiny, for many people, is a representative of toxicity. He will be representing toxicity in the debate to many people. Where there's a lot more information about Destiny out there than there is going to be about actual Jake. There's not going to be many counters. If there was an area to show hypocrisy, even if it does exist, the knowledge that Destiny could have on it is going to be very minimal. He's going to be doing really an uphill effort from the start. So the question is, how is Destiny going to deal with the fact that there's just much more information available about his content and how he conducts himself online, and with how he has generally behaved on a certain bird platform for the last year?
I think he's just going to concede the point and say, look, my audience is larger, it's going to have more toxicity, and then let Jake try and move the conversation from there. I think Destiny will concede out of the gate.
Yeah, I think the biggest threat is going to be trying not to pivot necessarily, but just trying to say, yeah, I have a bigger community, and try and get back on the main topic. I mean, we saw it with CTV and Shu, where CTV kind of just went off on a lot of different issues and was just kind of jumping from random topic to random topic or coming about whatever life story you want to talk about in his head, and Shu wasn't really able to kind of rein it all back in. I think Jake is probably going to be throwing out a lot of insults, probably going to be throwing out a lot of...
You think he's going to use a CTV strat?
I think it's going to be akin to the CTV strat in the sense that we're going to see a lot of random tweets coming out, a lot of random pictures. Maybe there's going to be some new lore that drops too, who knows? But Destiny's job is going to be having to rein it all the way back in and trying to focus on what matters, which is the actual topic of toxicity on Twitch and how that applies in, I guess, the Twitch politics community.
But it's going to be even more difficult considering the judges all voted in favor of the CTV strat in the last debate. Danabo did, the rest of them did. So the question is whether that strat is going to be able to, if Destiny's going to be able to deal with that strat. And this is something that Destiny's complained about on multiple occasions. He doesn't like when somebody throws a bunch of stuff out there, like the hammer. He likes to hold somebody on one topic and hammer it down. As somebody who's moderated his debate before, this is something he's clearly expressed to me and expressed to other people. So I think a lot of this also might depend upon whether I'm able to properly moderate the debate and make it so it doesn't like have a million topics go out there at once before hammering each one down, and whether or not Destiny can ever put Jake on the back foot by talking about their content, or whether or not it's going to shift from a debate of specific instances Destiny or actual Jake has been involved in to generally how do you conduct yourself on a platform, how do you moderate your community. Because if it comes into those general conversations, then it's going to be much easier for Destiny than if they talk about his specific instances, because there's just too much dirt on them in publicly. Wonderful. So,
yes. Wonderful. Wow, great contributions from the rest of this
I mean, I don't think it's wise to try and imitate a master, especially after you just witnessed their tactic like 5 minutes ago. The CTV tactic, it looks easy when CTV does it because it's CTV. I would be very careful to try the same thing.
Here's a question, and this is something I've been wondering for a bit. These two don't like each other. They've made it very clear. CTV actually called into a Destiny stream earlier. CTV is somebody who promotes the show. He goes to stream, tries to do it. And during that discussion, at the end of it, CTV says he's rooting for Destiny, right? By the way, so that's a CTV internet celebrity stance on this debate. And Destiny just clearly said, I think he's a dumb fuck, I don't like this person, fuck him, right? And I know actual Jake also doesn't like Destiny. That's what made making this match so difficult, and in my view, ended up with such a strange topic. So my question is, how do you think the hatred of each other, this being a grudge match, that a normal match is going to play into this?
I really hope they don't. Yeah, you go first.
No, you go first.
I really hope they don't go into like meta conversation. I think they both know better. I don't know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just tell the other person they're mad if they try that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen the classic strats where individuals just go up to their mic and just yell, "Are you mad? Are you mad? Are you mad? Are you mad? Are you mad?" I think that strategy might be something that we see here, actually, believe it or not. I think the question is whether or not Jake has the experience dealing with people who might be, for lack of a better word, big mad, or dealing with individuals who might be coming in with some sort of bias, and being able to try and act in some sort of impartial manner, right? Because the last thing Jake wants to do, as we saw from that little monkey story, is to be angry, is to be upset. If the little monkey gets mad, then how is he ever going to recover?
Any thoughts?
I think the audience and possibly the commentators may be underestimating Jake here. Jake came from nowhere to win the Hippie Dippy Rumble and challenge Destiny for the title. I don't think he will get big mad. I think he handled himself against a very drunken CTV very well and came out on top there, and I think he's got a shot here, especially with Destiny coming out with the disadvantage on the topic.
Do you think Jake will get angry during this debate and whether that could hinder his performance, dealing with somebody who many consider notorious?
Possibly, but if he's smart, he won't.
Gappy, do you think he will?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Do you think Jake will get angry during this debate and it will impede his performance?
Ooh, I think he will. The question is how he expresses that anger, right? The question is whether or not he expresses it by yelling, by getting mad, or if he just tries to pretend to stay calm, but his arguments start to kind of falter and show some degree of contempt or some degree of just being upset. We're gonna have to see what happens here, to be honest.
Okay, and Loner?
I don't know. Destiny's said a lot of mad shit in his career. I think there's plenty of things that Jake can easily, calmly ask him questions about. Don't get mad. I mean, I hope the corn outfit will help you. Focus on your props. Bring a real corn. Bring a few. I think that would be a much more viable strategy.
Okay, wonderful. 1 second. I was just had a question. 1 moment.
Oh, so your questions are more important than the panels, are you saying?
Well, yeah, I have to ask questions. We'll just keep talking then, Gabby. Okay, Gabby.
Oh, okay, all right, okay.
Gabby? Do it. Go, Gabby. Go.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, you know what content I'm going to produce? I'm going to produce some content using Conflict of Nations World War III, because if you click the link to download, you type exclamation sponsor, and help support the stream, and we get 30 more individuals, and we'll hit the first goal, which means I do in fact get to eat tonight. If we get 300 people, I believe Shuan is going to delete her Twitter and endorse Hillary Clinton 2024, which would be pretty fucking poggers for a lot of people. I'm sure many people want to
If we hit 300 downloads tonight, Hillary Clinton. Shuan had will delete her Twitter. Yes, that is true. Okay.
That's extremely exciting.
That is very exciting. Now I'm now going to announce with 5 minutes, not giving either of them time to prepare for the strategy, whether they hear it or not. I'm going to announce the last stipulation, which has not been announced yet, which is that this will be a cage match. What that specifically means is that at any point during the debate, I'll give them both 2 instances where both Destiny or Jake could just say cage match. What that means is basically all the rules of the game are gone. I cannot moderate, and they get a 3 to 4 minute period where it's no moderation whatsoever, and they can back. They will both get 2 instances for this, which makes it 4 in total. So this is a grudge match and a cage match. Now, how this will assist people, I would like to ask you. How do you think that will help the
It really comes down to how heavy the moderation is. If you're going in and you're saying, oh, you get back on topic, for example, but Jake is trying to pin Destiny down, or vice versa, the cage match card might be able to actually help them. Just going out to see match might be able to really help them, kind of ensure that they're able to get their point out, and ultimately communicate to the judge. Because for lack of, to be quite honest, nobody gives a shit what Dylan thinks here. We all give a shit about what the judges think.
That is true. Just like everyone knows, the judges are impartial, and I cannot impact their decisions whatsoever. Anyway, Loner, what do you think?
I mean, is TOS going to apply in the cage match?
Of course.
So it's not no Bard. You're lying, Dylan. I understand you're a businessman, but...
Sorry. Anyway, Dembo, what's your thoughts?
Is there a cutout? I'll see what's going on with them.
I think that Jake could possibly use this to his advantage. I don't think Destiny will bother using it. I think Destiny likes moderation, and he wants you to step in. We saw it with Infrared versus Destiny, where Destiny kept asking, Dylan, can you moderate, and has just kept going.
Yeah, but that's Infrared.
It depends how mad Jake gets. I don't think he will. Look,
I disagree, because I think if there's anything Destiny likes, it's to hold someone down, right? Not sections, maybe sections. I don't know. But in this debate specifically, Jake isn't somebody that I really know to like just go all out yelling and going crazy like Infrared. If there's a cage match period, I think it's Destiny will use it to just take things that Jake is like trying to dodge around something. So Destiny will say, hold him down, I can't stop it, it doesn't matter, as long as it's not outside of the service. Jake, I don't see as many opportunities for Jake to use that to his advantage. I think the moderation will mostly be helping Jake definitely considering he doesn't engage the same amount of basic Destiny does. I think honestly this is something that could equalize this, considering the topic is not Destiny.
I think one thing we're not really discussing is elements of surprise. We don't really see Jake doing a lot of debates in the sense that Destiny or the other individuals, even like CPU Shu does. So I think Jake's kind of going in here with a really strong surprise factor. It's really difficult to predict how he's going to be behaving and what he's going to be coming in with in terms of his rhetoric and his arguments, and that's going to be something that everyone's going to have to adapt to.
Wonderful. Is there any last thoughts? We have 2 minutes before we start, so any last thoughts?
I think there's a hype video to play with.
Oh yeah, they had a hype video to play or something. Gabby?
Oh, okay, so the hype video is more important than me.
Well, I just asked your thoughts.
My thoughts would be, I think this is going to be a lot closer than people are expecting. Just like how the CTV match was a huge expected win for Shu, but it turns out CTV won. It is certainly possible that this could go either way. The debate goes, depending on how the judges vote. This is definitely a wacky topic. This is definitely a wacky set of debaters. It's almost wacky as people who haven't been able to finish Bloodborne on stream despite saying that they would. I think it can be really exciting. I think it's really engaging, and honestly, I think both sides really have a solid shot.
Got it. Gabby, do you want to interview the winners and losers afterwards, or do you want to leave that?
I think that would be more fun doing it. So I'll do it, sure.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, both of you, please leave. Gotta do it.
It's not my fault.
Wonderful. Okay, guys, we gotta play the hype video that Fluff made, a lovely member of our community. Okay, I don't know if it's garbage or not, so we're just gonna take a swing at it. Okay, we'll start getting everything ready while it's playing. Okay, we didn't have enough time to make hype videos super high effort, so hopefully Fluff comes through. Okay, I'll be right back, guys.
Connor, shut the fuck up.
Lord, please, for the love of God. Taylor, rabbits. I'm pretty sure your brain is running on 1995. Okay.
Never mind, Connor. Fucking, you're clear for takeoff.
It's my life, my history that yes, I am. I have played like several different instruments of different types in many different places, public venues. I've gotten paid to do it actually.
Okay, I'm so randomly curious. What's like the dominant 7 of like the scale of C? Okay, so this will be the resurgence. That's a really basic question. If you know any of my music, guys, you said you play jazz. Okay, you should know it's dominant 7s. Okay.
As a kid, was a lot like white people vegetables. So when you grow up as a white person in a white family, vegetables suck because they're a part of the field that you have to suffer through.
Time to eat some corn. It's one of the most studied things in the world. It's one of the things I understand the best. The problem is how do you get down to people? Can I ask one question? Go for it. Tristan, do you believe that God knows all things?
Yes, God is omniscient.
God knows what it feels like to kick the ass. I got trying to use more than 10% of our brain for something, okay? If the
Oh,
entire...
no,
Oh my God!
Who cares? You're not gonna name a name, then...
We're debating Destiny about his responsibility to not be a fucking loser. I would like to now take this opportunity to turn our attention to this beautiful product that we have right here. This is a several millimeters tall.
We've seized the means of production, comrades, and now we're gonna go and watch some super YouTube videos.
Let's check it out. And by the way, I'm gonna try really hard not to smoke this joint that I rolled up. And we'll see how far I can go before I just have to. Oh, that's loud.
Hello. What's up, people of the internet? I'm Dave Rubin. This is...
No. That's it. Hey, society.
You're so smart.
Thinks it's uncool.
Oh, big Candy corn is the cancer that we need to cut out of the holiday of Halloween. Because I want Americans to have healthcare. I want Americans to have fucking education. I want Americans to have housing, jobs. I want America to have access to food and shelter and water and internet. I want America not to spend their days toiling 40 hours a week. I want America to spend their days
following their passions and moving towards what they love in a land that allows you to be whoever you want to be, regardless of race or creed or color or gender or sex or sexuality. I want Americans to wake up every day and to know that if they get sick, their family will be fine and the houses over their heads will go on. I want to welcome you both to the KPW Championship. I hope tonight we're going to have an interesting interaction. Sure. And it is a championship match. Meaning whoever wins tonight will be the Hippie Championship belt, including everything. And we're going to get straight into it in a moment. Just first, I want to say that everybody at home, we are sponsored by Conflict of Nations World War III. And we're going to scan the logo that's on the left-hand bottom of the screen and download the game on mobile and play it. It's a lot. And actual Jake is free. That'll earn the corn outfit if we get a free discount. So just something to Destiny. So now I'll give you both a small period of time to introduce yourself and start with the challenger, Actual Jake.
Hi, I'm Actual Jake. Sometimes I get called corn-gendered by Destiny. That's pretty cute. I do leftist politics on Twitch. We do a little bit of debate panel stuff. I'm usually pretty well known for both the silly corn suit that these people paid for me to be in moments ago, and then also just doing lefty stuff. I also have a really nice community. Usually people stop by. They are impressed by the really chill atmosphere and stuff like that. And that's kind of what we're talking about today is the idea of toxicity and how we manage our communities and any responsibility we might have, and how I think Destiny is an abject failure in that regard.
Okay, Destiny, you can introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Destiny. I do. I didn't want to talk to you. I want to talk myself. But I guess I'll talk to you both. My name is Destiny. I do like center left politics depending on who you are, or I guess far right depending on who you are. I've been doing politics on Twitch for a long time, obviously. And here today, I guess we're going to be talking about the different types of toxicity that exists on Twitch and the reasonable amounts that we can control it, and how we should try to control it, and what types of toxicity we should accept versus what types we should reject.
Wonderful. So, what we are doing tonight, there's one stipulation I've told neither of you leading up to this, and that's because, of course, I'm evil and a bastard. And that this tonight, not only, of course, is a grudge match, because I know both of you are not fans of each other, but it's also a cage match, which that means is that both of you will have the ability, twice during tonight's debate, to say cage match. What that'll mean is I will completely disengage for 3 minutes, and I will not moderate whatsoever. You can do this only twice, both of you, meaning there's only 4 available for the whole night. The rest of the rules usually apply, of course, nothing against terms of service, or my usual rules like no misgendering, anything like that. So as long as you're not really just using the opportunity to say the N-word, cage match applies. So, that's the one stipulation that has not been said beforehand to spice it up a little bit. I'm going to allow you both to have short intros of reasonable length if you start doing essay time, okay? If it's long enough to be on YouTube video, I'm going to stop you. But you will have short periods of intros. I'm going to let Jake go first since he's the challenger.
Sure. I don't really have much for an intro because I'd rather just get into the topics and start talking. But pretty much, I think it's if you experience Twitch in any capacity, or even political Twitter, and often political YouTube, you'll find that Destiny and his community are there, and often the reports that come back from that are not a terribly glowing review. I think DGG and Destiny himself have a pretty well-documented history of being both people and himself just a group you don't want to engage with because there's too much bullshit that goes along with it. Like right now, in my mentions on Twitter, and I'm sure at some point during the stream, unless DGG gets smart, I'll have people in here that are going to violate my chat terms. People on Twitter are often a little rabid, a little weird, and that's not bad in and of itself. The point is that it's very consistent within this community, within specifically DGG, and it's an example of the types of toxicity that these spaces often have to fight against. And where Destiny fails and where DGG fails because of him is because he doesn't offer a sort of like reasonable way to interact with people that don't devolve into kind of yelling and stuff. And I know there's clips in that, and I understand that there's sort of the grind of the internet debater to be a certain sort of way, especially in regards to Destiny, who likes to drum up a little controversy now and then. But basically the idea here is Destiny's not a very good person, like in general. It just doesn't seem like he fosters a group of people that you want to be around. That's pretty evident by the people that have basically just said, I don't really want to interact with Destiny anymore. So.
Okay, Destiny?
Yeah, I guess we'll hop into the back and forth. Yeah, I could respond to everything. I guess to broadly speak, I think that when people identify problems with my community,
are you giving up your intro?
No, I was thinking of an intro, but I didn't want to just respond to essentially back and forth. So let me just give a macro level overview. I think that people have rightly identified that when you engage with me, that there is a large chance of receiving some sort of hate online. I just wish that people would recognize that door opens both ways. That I'm also the recipient of an unbelievable amount of hate. The only difference between me and those other communities is that I, at the very least, take pretty strong stances to stop it in my community. I've received so many times, and unfortunately, I hope it doesn't result in the debate this way. But it might sound like Jake just doesn't know any of my policies or how I've dealt with any of these things in the past. But as far as I'm aware, I was one of the only people, if not still the only person, that will enforce cross-platform bans for people that go into other people's chat rooms and harass them, or that will go onto Twitter or other forms of social media and harass people. I'm one of the only streamers that I know of that has that policy on the books. I have incredibly strict community moderation. I have over 1 million followers between all of my platforms, maybe more than that. Obviously, I can't please every single person, and it's incredibly disheartening to me that when you receive 1 or 2 negative comments on Twitter, all of a sudden my entire community gets impugned because I can't control every single random person that happens to come out and shit on somebody that I argue with. I also think it's pretty disappointing that people oftentimes will levy these criticisms that my community is so toxic, and then either me or my moderators will directly reach out to that person and say, hey, who's being toxic to you, only to receive absolutely no response whatsoever. And the few times that we do receive responses, overwhelmingly it's some random idiot that follows like 2 people that's just on Twitter shitposting. These aren't like long-standing members of my community that are like going into other communities harassing people. It's always just like the random riffraff that happens to be on Twitter that's going to be there no matter what. So yeah, I mean, we'll get into this. We'll get into the back and forth. I'm excited to talk about how we can hold communities accountable. I'm very curious why it seems like on the other end these communities are never held accountable, and why there's so many excuses for people that I deal with, but I can't make the very reasonable explanation of like, hey, I can't control every single fuckwad on Twitter that you might or might not intimidated.
Right, and I think there's a reasonable level to which you're not culpable in some other person's behavior. Of course, that makes sense, right? I don't think anybody would think that you or any other person can 100% clamp down on any sort of bad behavior. However, the way that you approach it is absolutely retroactive. It is reacting to bad behavior, air quotes, rather than being proactive in fostering a community that wouldn't even engage in that behavior in general up front. And I know that you're making appeal to your popularity, but I mean, there's like, for instance, Hassan has a pretty humongous community, and it's not known notoriously for the community that you have, right? It's known for having some gamers and some dude bros in there, and he's not always about politics, but it's a pretty chill space, even though it's very hectic with 40,000 concurrent viewers or something like that. But I just don't think that the size of your community tends to matter that much in regards to per capita, like just the vibe and the general fucking nastiness that happens because of places like DGG. But specifically, it's your behavior I want to talk about, and not DGG in general, which only feeds on what you say. And that's the part that is important, is your behavior.
Yeah, let me respond to some of these things before we do the whole 4 minute. So first of all, you immediately begin by saying I can't 100% clamp down on bad behavior. That's good. Then you say that the way that you approach it is retroactive.
Like it's
yeah, I understand. I don't know if we have precog somewhere. We're gonna do the minority report again. I can't preemptively ban people.
You think I'm saying that you should be able to like predict that behavior?
What other proactive steps could I take besides telling people?
Right.
Wait, hold on, wait. Let me just finish my. I know you're really. What other proactive steps? What kind of proactive steps can I take beyond telling people, hey, which I've said a million times, and I'm sure even other content creators have said, if I catch you guys harassing people in other communities, going on Twitter and typing transphobia and bullshit, I'm going to ban you in every single community that I have. What other proactive steps can I take?
Well, I mean, not engaging in that behavior.
So what do you mean by engaging in that behavior? Where I encourage my fans to go and harass people, or?
Oh yeah.
Do you think that I encourage my fans to go and harass people?
Do you think you don't encourage your fans to harass people?
I think by asking you the implications, I don't believe so. Because I'm asking you to provide me an example. Or you don't give me an example, general feeling. Yeah. How do you feel like I encourage my fans to harass people?
How was your Thanksgiving?
My Thanksgiving was fine.
Yeah. You have a good time?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it's interesting. Just yesterday, you engaged in this exact behavior.
Do you think that means
which is a pretty weird thing. But
to be clear, that other person engaged first. So if you want to say it's weird, that's fine. But you're calling the other person weird as well, which is fine. We're all weird on the online culture. So one, that person engaged in the behavior first. Secondly, does me responding to somebody or attacking somebody back on Twitter who also attacked me first, does that make me like encouraging my community?
Wait, do you think this person? Do you think this is an isolated incident in which you were just discussing I would never call anybody by its pronouns and then this came up? Do you think this is like the first time it's ever happened and there's no precedent for anyone to respond and you weren't just like vague posting, you didn't expect a response from these types of people? Like you're genuinely saying like this was an innocent tweet and I didn't expect anybody to respond negatively and it's not a form of harassment, even though this has been a topic on your channel pretty loudly and recently with the RGR stuff just happened. Like it's clearly you were talking about a topical thing that just occurred. How can you be like, no, ignorantly I was just doing this, and then they responded first?
Yeah, so if this is a more cutthroat debate, I would follow you down this thing. I would force you to stick with the singular example you brought up. So I just want to point out that you gave an example, and the framing was that I attacked somebody. I didn't. They attacked me first, and now you want to pull it back to. Now you want to. I don't have the exact tweets, but I'm pretty sure they said that I have like a sickness or something, that I'm sick and that I need to get right. Which I don't think it's necessarily bad. They have the right to say that. However, now you're backing it up to, well, were they responding to like a generalized tweet? I did make a generalized tweet. I said I won't use its pronouns for example. I'll never do that.
Right.
Now you think that? Do you think? Wait, hold on. I'm not going to get led all around by you because you're trying to hold my hand through all your doors, right? So my question to you is, do you think that me saying that I won't use its pronouns, do you think that warrants them calling me sick back?
I don't know that it matters in regards to the singular tweet because you're trying to just strip it of its context. It's pretty obvious this has been an ongoing dialogue with you. And I'm not just going to talk about this topic, but this is a topic that happened yesterday again.
Sure.
So
before you get into
really great the type of toxicity that you and your brand perpetuate.
Can I just because this is how all of these conversations are going to be fruitless. Can I get you to kind of like hone in on an area so that every single time I kind of like back you into the corner realizing you're not bringing a great example, that you can't just like say, well, everything you've done is bad. So like if you want to stick to like one particular area, then that's fine. But like you can't.
No, we're talking about the in general your attitude, right?
Well, but
what it's about.
The problem is that in general your attitude.
Like not a problem. It's not a problem. We can absolutely take the person into context.
Give us a moment. Okay, so
I'll give you
I've seen the back like really respectful. I just want to make sure people can say their statements before. So I'm gonna have Destiny go for a minute, and then Corn. I'm sorry, just Corn Pop. And then Jake.
You call me either. Okay,
got it. I just saw the Corn.
Yeah, so I'm curious when people like bring up like, oh, you engage in a lot of harassment. Okay, well, like what kind of harassment? So like, do I engage in like, do I shitpost? Do I attack people? Or am I toxic or rude? Yeah, absolutely, of course. But like this is usually back and forth. It's very rare that I just go in on somebody out of nowhere, right? I made a tweet saying that I'm not going to use its pronouns. I just don't want to. Now this other person had me blocked on Twitter, so I didn't think that they would ever even engage with me. That doesn't change anything. You're not crying about me engaging with it, right? So if that person is going to start taking screenshots of my tweets and from behind the block, they're going to say things that gives me like having a sickness and like abandoning my Thanksgiving or whatever. Then of course I'm going to like rattle them back. Yeah, that's part of the course. Now if you want to talk about me being toxic or setting some toxic attitude, that's fine. But like don't leave all the context. Don't make it sound like I'm out of nowhere shitting on this person. That's not the case.
I didn't say you were out of nowhere shitting on a person. I literally said the opposite of out of nowhere. I said that this was an ongoing dialogue. What are you talking about?
Okay, well how do you want to do the ongoing dialogue? Then go for it.
Thanks. Okay, so today, just for instance, you made a joke about me, which hilarious corn content. You said I was going to make a joke about how we eat corn in the Midwest, but I don't know if Jake is a trans vegetable, so I don't want to avoid any accent, which is a cute thing to say about me, right? That's cute. That's funny, right? Yeah. But you know what that is in reference to. Like, you only get the joke if you understand the other thing that you're part of, right? And what would that be?
The conversation. Well, sorry, I was going to answer. Don't interrupt your question with my answer.
I just didn't know if I asked.
Did you want to grandstand somewhere?
No, I didn't know if I asked the question.
Okay,
go ahead.
Because you're not railroading me down to the one answer I did. Because the false answer.
Whatever you want. What's the real answer? What context do you need for this joke to be actually funny to your audience?
Sure thing. So the broader context of people that are trying to do these sexual identifications that exist outside of like binary or non-binary, where they're including things like autism gender or these other types of exotic genders that are saying like gender. I think that's what you need to understand the context of that joke.
Do you think that's the context of the joke that you need to think this was funny, and not the death threats that Doe received after you made a funny haha about it identifying as a doe and then people saying it's like open hunting season. If they want to be a deer, we should be allowed to hunt like in real life. And then Doe said, hey, I'll never do this. I'll never report this tweet. And then that face where you get hate for respecting someone's identity, which is again, I don't think you would consider that non-toxic behavior, right?
That's definitely aggressive. Yeah, we can use text if you want. But so one, that wasn't originally my tweet. I amplified it, I retweeted it, but it wasn't initially my tweet. It was Yami's tweet. Number one. Number two, and maybe we just come to areas of the internet. I don't consider like somebody saying like is it deer hunting season? I don't consider that to be a death threat. If you want to talk about this like shit talking or something, then that's fine. But we're in different worlds if that is what you consider a death threat. If it is what you consider a death thret, which is fine. I get tons of those in these communities. Usually anytime I get into a big fight, I usually retweet or amplify because I think it's funny. There were some yesterday screenshots. I can send them to you about how what is it? I stand firmly on this. Destiny needs to be killed. Gun him down. He's losing, right? People tweet shit like I don't even consider these death threats. They're randos on the internet. I'm not reaching out. I don't know where they're anything. If you want to talk about like whether or not.
Do you think if say someone said that Destiny should be gunned down and then I retweeted it and tried to make a funny joke about it, do you think that you would be cool with that? You'd just be really calm?
Destiny should be gunned down? Probably not. But if they said something like we need to do like, do you recognize there's a difference between saying Destiny should be gunned down versus like we need to purge the gamers? Like you understand that?
Wait. Do you think that the interaction between a trans person and the normal violence that they experience in a day-to-day context is separate from the joke that someone would make about killing Doe because it identifies as something that it doesn't like your sensibilities find it distasteful? Do you not find any congruence between a normal experience?
Yes, I'm not going to link the normal day-to-day experience with a trans person.
That's really interesting. Why would you?
I was just about to say it. Do you want to get grandstanding or can I?
I would love you.
Okay, so I'm not going to link the day-to-day harassment or experience of trans person sees with other. I don't think these are in the same class of things. It's kind of the whole point of everything I've been arguing, which I think Yami's tweet kind of got towards, right? Like if you identify as a deer, it's kind of deer hunting. Obviously, the concept of identifying as a deer is not only ridiculous, but I'm pretty sure that Doe themselves don't even identify as a deer. They even say, I'm not another kid, I don't identify as a deer. So the idea that that was like a death threat is kind of silly to me. Was it like tasteless or maybe aggressive? Yeah, sure, you can argue that, sure. But I don't think like people are seeing it and they're like, oh yeah, like it's deer hunting time, let's go. Like I don't believe that. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what about the situation where, and we'll move on to this topic shortly after this. So what about the grand dismissal of like suicide attempts and all of this? Do you think that like that's not a toxic thing to do? That's not at all making your audience have less empathy for a person? Do you think that they taking any social cues from you at all? Do you feel no responsibility for anyone seeing something you do that's shitty to another person and then you not think that they'll take away that it's also not shitty for them to do it, or?
Normally, you like to go on after I answer, so I was gonna wait for you to finish.
Cute.
Okay, so I can answer. Okay, so in terms of having empathy for people, I'm not going to sit here and infantilize somebody that is weaponizing their mental health issues to attack or fight with other people on Twitter. So if somebody says that, no, I like to finish answering this, right? So if somebody says, for instance, that they like suicide attempted their life and then they post like a huge thing about it on Twitter, and then they're back on Twitter like 2 weeks later, like back into the most toxic for your mental place ever. I mean, if they're going to take their mental health seriously, I'm not going to. Why should I? Like, that's not my responsibility to make those types of accommodations for people. And then I would go one step further. I would go one step further, and I would say that the types of accommodations that people like you and others are making for these people are actually incredibly harmful in these environments. The idea that it's not even
evidence to support that. In fact, I think it goes in the exact opposite direction whenever you bring up studies about accommodating trans people's identities.
Deer is not a trans person's identity, so that's not linked to this at all. Number one. Okay. Number two, the idea, as I was saying before, the idea that we should infinitely accommodate people that have severe mental health issues and are making suicide attempts and posting suicide on Twitter. It seems to me that the more empathetic or caring response is like, hey, you probably shouldn't be here right now, rather than continually validating these people as they engage past their own blocks in the most like toxic ways possible across the Twitter.
Past your own blocks.
It is very. I'm not gonna like reach out and like actually super ultra harass somebody that's having mental issues if they are if they've got me blocked. I generally won't do that.
Okay, but they blocked you. Like in this
they blocked me, but then they started like taking pictures and responding to me, or I didn't even quote tweet through a block or whatever, and responding to me. So okay, and that point, of course, you have to respond. Yeah, obviously.
Okay, so you think it's weaponizing to have a friend say, hey, here's the scenario. Just want you guys to know what's going on with me. You think that's weaponizing a suicide attempt?
I think that if you have severe mental health issues and then you get online and you start like attacking other people saying you have a sickness while you're kind of like shielded from that.
Later. You're saying that this thing happened later.
Wait.
That was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday.
And then my response
removed from the moment that you're talking about. So that isn't an answer to the question because you didn't have a context for yesterday when you tweeted it before. So this is the type of
wait. Okay, I don't know which one you're talking about. You keep jumping over everything. I thought that you opened this. No, you opened this conversation saying what did you do with Thanksgiving? So I thought we were talking about what happened yesterday. If you want to jump back to tweets before then, I mean, you can show me that. But me mentioning yesterday, hey, why? It's okay. It's not context. You constantly pivoting to 20 different topics.
It's not pivoting. It's a context specifically for why you think certain jokes are funny and having to know. Right. This is basically the same thing that people do. Like, oh, you haven't watched every single bit of this content, so you don't know.
No. Wait, hold on. I'm not gonna let you frame that way. That's not fair. Okay. If you want to talk about a specific thing, that's fine. It's your problem if every time you try to lean into a specific thing and I push back, you want to jump into a place. Now, if you want to talk about comments made months ago, that's totally fine. We can bring up those tweets in that interaction. But you specifically started this conversation off saying, "What did you do for Thanksgiving?" Let's talk about yesterday. They had me blocked and they were quoting me through that block. They said that I had a sickness. I said, "How can you say I'm sick when you were the one that tried to do so?" That's what I thought we were talking about right now. Now, if you want to talk back about some other tweets, that's fine. But notice you opened this conversation about yesterday's tweets, and now you want to jump back because you think you need context. But it sounds like you just want to criticize the prior tweets, and these current ones don't even matter. So I don't know what you want to take.
I think they both matter. One informs the other. But it's not really relevant. Just like as far as like where we're gonna go with the conversation, I don't think we need to be talking about.
Do you think that people? Okay, I'm curious. Let's see if I can ask you questions. Do you think that people that attempt suicide because of severe like mental duress should be engaging on Twitter in political spheres?
First of all, that implies that like only combative like behavior is happening right after. Okay, sure. So someone that has any sort of suicidal thing and then is known enough on the internet to feel the need to have like some sort of like announcement like, hey, this is what I'm going through. Like, did you read that? It didn't seem like terribly like. It's a bad thing that a person went through that I think deserves empathy.
Okay. If you need me to restate the question, I can. But go ahead and that's fine. I'll bring you back when you're done.
Right. Okay. So I don't think it's necessarily a place for either you or I to determine what is or is not mentally healthy.
You don't think we can say that if you've attempted suicide because of mental duress, that being the most toxic parts of online political might be about it. You don't think that neither of us are talking about that?
So what interaction do you think was really toxic? Interacting with you?
Interacting with hold on. Is the implication that I am the only toxic person on politics?
Of course not.
Okay. So do you agree that talking about trans issues in general? Because earlier you made the statement trans people in general experience a lot of hate and aggression in all areas of life. I think we'll go through that. So do you think that a trans person going on Twitter marketing where like seem to be like pretty extreme trans people? Do you agree or disagree? You can agree that they're pretty far to the left. Do you think that that's a healthy thing for somebody that has like previously attempted suicide and is experiencing extreme mental duress?
Do you think exacerbating the issue about, and like making fun of the person?
You're rambling. I'm gonna ask you a question again.
Is that a ramble?
Because you're trying to answer my question with a question because you don't answer. You know what the answer is. The answer is no, they probably shouldn't do. But I'll let you keep going.
Well, okay, you can still man. You can say sure that they shouldn't do that. That's fine. I'm fine with that answer. That's what you think. Now I don't know what anyone's particular cope is going to be post traumatic event like that, right? Like it's not for me to say. We could probably agree that Twitter probably doesn't offer many good avenues if you're going to engage in that stuff. But you're acting like it was like the moment that happened that someone was just like going in and having a bunch of debate bro moments. When really that wasn't happening. You said basically like attention-seeking behavior that was really gross and it's disgusting. And then do you think that if someone has a mental health issue that you are helping or harming just from an ethical standpoint by being incredibly negative about them and saying that their suicide attempt is and note is specifically for attention-seeking things, or like
it's potentially harmful, but I don't think it's my responsibility to take care of somebody else's mental health on a platform.
Is that what I'm asking you to do?
Yes. When you're the implication. Sure, yeah, I can walk you through. So the implication is that you helping or hurting. It seems like you want to provide some level of condemnation from you hurting.
Or being neutral.
I don't think either of us are going to take a neutral path. No, Washington's not here now, okay? So it sounds like you want to say that, like, hey, if you're hurting somebody's mental health, that's bad. I don't believe I have an obligation to other people's mental health on Twitter because there's a block function. If somebody wants to block me, as long as I'm not like directing harassment, like telling fans blah blah blah. If they don't want to interact with me, it's super easy to just block me. You can do that on Twitter, and then.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time you directed harassment at somebody, would it?
I mean, if directing harassment means just arguing with somebody, man, you directed a whole bunch my way. All of you guys have directed a bunch my way. So none of our hands are clean there. I mean.
Well, do you think that that's what I mean? And also, let's just go back to the other thing real quick.
Sure. Wherever you feel strongest.
Yeah, man. Do you think that you not engaging in sort of the negative aspect of and the toxic behavior of saying like, oh, your suicide attempt and your note is just for like attention. Do you think that's you just not being culpable to someone's mental health, or do you think that's you actively negatively harming someone's mental health?
If they choose to engage with my public messages about it, that's on them. They have no obligation to read anything I'm saying. There's no reason for them if they don't want to. Like, you can literally just block a person. If anything, I would argue that people like you that are amplifying my messages and making a big deal about it are increasing the likelihood of that other person reading it and being harmed by it. But I mean, again, if you're having like a severe mental health crisis and you find that you're trying to commit suicide, then like posting notes on Twitter and then engaging in the most toxic platform on the internet for politics is a behavior that all of us should probably say.
The platform though that was the toxic aspect, was it?
Yeah, it is. Twitter is a toxic platform.
And why?
Because the platform itself, with small character limits and supercharged issues, lends itself towards like really toxic discussions.
The people there.
I mean, we're humans on Earth, so everything we interact with is going to have a people element unless we're talking about falling volcanoes.
I would say, without reservation, that your specific interactions were the most toxic, and your community's interactions were the most toxic